Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto Dragon Summoner Council bashing. Before I start, please support for more amazing content, and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Jinso Kitsune-kun and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. The Blazing Dragon. Today was October 10th, 12 years after the QB attack. It was the birthday of a young golden-haired, sapphire-eyed, whiskered boy. On someone's birthday, they normally would be celebrating with their friends and family. Except this little boy had no friends, and no family. He had grown up with no parents to love him, or feed him, or hug him when he was sad. No one ever bothered to be his friend. At the moment, he was scrounging through a garbage can at the barbecue restaurant, which was what he would normally do every birthday. Suddenly, a crowd of angry, drunken villagers showed up and shouted, "Get the demon!" They chased him throughout the village, never relenting. They chased him all the way to the forest just outside of Konoha. They were far behind him now, but that did not mean they would give up. This little boy was Naruto Uzumaki. He ran, and kept running, until suddenly he tripped, and fell down a hole. He was spinning and spinning, until he landed smack on his bum. Ow! He yelled. "Did you hear something?" A villager near the hole asked. No, another replied. Naruto covered his mouth. All of a sudden, the hole closed up, leaving Naruto sitting there inside the underground cave. "The brat's not here, let's just leave. He'll most likely die because of the creatures," a muffled voice said. The villagers left the forest, thinking Naruto was dead or going to die. Naruto looked ahead of him to see a medium-sized slip of paper on the floor. He read it, seeing that it had instructions for a technique that, when used, would grant him immense speed, strength, and give him a royal blue and gold-streaked aura that was visible. He would also have a Shinken one appear in his hand. He would have fiery hair that waved around, which looked from far away as if his head was on fire, golden eyes the color of his hair, and his hair would go straight up, as if it were pointing towards something above him in the sky. He looked much like a celestial entity. To activate the technique, he would only need to say or think its name, Sarasashiragoing too. In fact, if he wanted to, he could make the aura disappear so he could be undercover. He decided to try the technique after reading the instructions. "Sarasashiragoing," he whispered. Suddenly, a burst of energy erupted out of Naruto, and he was surrounded by a royal blue, golden-streaked aura with a Shinken in his right hand. He had fiery hair, golden eyes, his hair stood straight up, and he looked like a celestial entity. 3. He somehow could feel that every genjutsu within the range of the outskirts of Konoha had been broken. He chuckled at that thought. Suddenly, for an unknown reason, the hole opened, and Naruto felt himself being sucked out of the underground cavern. Character focus change. Karina Yuhi, 16-year-old chunin and genjutsu mistress of Konoha, was paralyzed with fear. She was just walking home from a completed A-rank mission through the forest, when two bandits happened upon her and her teammates. They tried to fight back, but were captured. Her two female teammates, once they were taken back to the bandits' camp, were assaulted and raped. Karina could only watch in horror as her two friends' virginities were taken by force. Her friends were then shackled, and sent to a large tent. When they got there, they saw that it was full of women who had been raped by these bandits, with shackles tying their arms and legs together. Crying their eyes out, they were going to become slaves to these disgusting, soulless men. They cried too, as they could do nothing about it. Karina had gotten the feeling she wasn't going to see her friends again, and that the bandits were going to advance on her. As the bandits started to move forward, she cast the genjutsu on all of them. All of the bandits, save two very strong ones, cried out in agony as they fell to the ground, then slumped unconscious. Karina had taken the chance to get away as she leaped through the trees, the two leftover bandits chasing after her. She was semi-conscious, mainly running on the adrenaline of battle. She started to slow down, until they got to a field. She fell down, not being able to run anymore. The two bandits grabbed her and started removing her clothes. With some of the last bits of her strength, she let out a cry for help. "Help!" she had shouted. A bandit slapped her and said, "Shut up, bitch." She could only say in her mind how truly terrified she was. "No! I'm going to be raped and become a slave!" she cried, thinking no one could save her. Character focus change. Then, without knowing how, Naruto was suddenly on the ground at what he assumed to be the center of the forest. He looked around and saw that he was in the middle of a soft, grassy field. Suddenly, he heard a female shriek. Then he heard crying. He crouched just a little to see an immensely beautiful woman having her clothes torn off by two beefy thieves. The woman had black hair, crimson eyes, and CC cup breasts. He was completely angered at how evil these men were. "Uzumaki-sama, calm down. I know it angers you, but you can't show yourself without being prepared, huh? Who's there?" he called out. The bandit stopped. "Did you hear something?" one asked. No. "Now let's get back to screwing this hot chick, 4. The other replied. They started taking off Karina's clothes again. "Uzumaki-sama, stay calm. There is no one near you. I am the soul of the blade that appears when you call out your technique. My name is Mororyu 5. When you speak to me, just think what you wish to say, Uzumaki-sama." Naruto paused for a moment, then thought, "I wish to help that woman, So, you wish to help her, even though you know nothing of who she is, if she is an enemy ninja, or if she will wish to kill you? That's right. Wait for one moment. Naruto could feel Moru searching his mind for something. Suddenly Moru spoke up. I can't believe this. Can't believe what? Naruto asked. Your past. You have been through so much in your life. Beatings, attempted assassination, getting stabbed, bones being broken. Yet you remain as pure as the white fallen snow on the coldest of winter's days. I am amazed. Since you wish to help this woman, I will tell you a technique that you can use to kill these disgusting rapists. Just say the name of the attack, and I will guide you to your target. Moru then told him the name of attack, and told him it was time to kill these men. Alright, here goes nothing. Naruto thought. Then he stood up and shouted at the bandits, Hey you heartless! Leave her alone, now. The bandits heard a child's voice and saw him and sneered. What are you gonna do about it, brat? One of them shouted as they continued to rip off Karina's clothing. Karina managed to turn her head just to catch a millisecond-long glimpse of the boy right as he calmly whispered, Sarasushira going. Suddenly, a violent torrent of royal blue with golden streaks swirled viciously around Naruto. His hair turned a fiery red and orange, stood straight up, and waved around violently. His eyes turned golden, and he looked like a celestial entity. The bandits felt the surge of power coming from the boy, and were a little bit frightened. As I said before, leave her alone, now. Naruto said in a demonic voice. The bandit who was at Karina's head said, Why? Rhymes, no way, brat. She's ours. Fine, don't say I didn't warn you. Naruto charged forward and disappeared. The bandits were whipping their heads around. Where did he go? Suddenly, Naruto appeared right next to the bandit who was at Karina's head. You die first. Dine in hell, you son of a bitch. He swung his sword, and it cleanly sliced through the man's throat, decapitating him without spilling blood. The man's head fell right off his body, then his headless corpse fell to its knees, then slumped forward and laid there, not moving at all. Naruto then disappeared, then appeared back where he originally was. What the? You killed my brother, you little brat. TCH, he deserved it. Naruto retorted. The man howled in rage. He then threw multiple hand signs, then shouted, Doton, Chikuyari no Jutsu, Earth Release, Earth Spear Technique. Out of nowhere, a spear of earth broke out of the ground and charged towards Naruto at a high speeds. Karina's eyes were full of sorrow. There was no way that boy was going to be able to dodge that. She was going to lose her virginity to a rapist after all. Yet she still watched, hoping the boy would find some way to get past the attack. Uzumaki-sama, use the attack I taught you. Hurry! Moru told him. Okay, Moru. And by the way, just call me Naruto. I don't want any respect unless I have earned it with sweat and determination. Okay, Naruto. He then whispered the name of the attack, Kasai Doragundariru 6. Suddenly, Moru guided him forward, making him run just a little slower than the spear. He jumped, and began spinning like in the Gutsuga attacks that the Inuzuka use. He was immediately coated in flames, yet he was not hurt at all. Then the coat of fire around him began to take the shape of a dragon's head. While he was still spinning, he met the spear head-on, drilling through it and burning it to a crisp. He was still spinning when he reached the remaining bandit. He drilled straight through the middle of the man's torso and exited out his back. He then flipped, landed on his feet, and the flames dissipated. The bandit looked down at his torso to see a gaping, sizzling hole. He tried to speak, but he just vomited blood before falling to his hands, then slumping. Naruto decapitated the corpse. He made the aura disappear. He then checked on the woman to see if she was okay. When he got to her, he saw that she was exquisitely beautiful. He got on one knee and asked, Are you okay, Tenshi-chan 7? She blushed at the nickname he had given her. Yes, I am fine, thank you for asking. My name is Karina Yuhi. Can you please take me to the Hokage? I don't feel very well, and am about to pass out from lack of adrenaline and chakra. With that she fainted, too exhausted to hear his answer. With pleasure, Tenshi-chan. He replied. He went quickly into the forest and cut up some parts of a tree to fashion the bars of a stretcher. He then took cloth from the bandits' corpses and made the part of the stretcher that you lay people on. He picked Karina up gently and laid her on the stretcher. He then picked up the stretcher and carried her to the Hokage's office at light speed. In the Hokage's office, Naruto arrived in the Hokage's office with a whoosh, causing the Hokage to look up from his Aika and nearly have a heart attack. The Hokage could feel an immense power coming from this boy who had a royal blue golden streaked aura around him, fiery hair that stood straight up and waved around, golden eyes which were the color of Naruto's hair, and to top it off, he looked like he came straight from the heavens. Who are you? And why are you carrying Karina Yuhi? He asked. I'm carrying Karina, because I rescued her from being raped by bandits, and as for who I am, he leaned in close and whispered, It's me, Gigi. The boy replied. The Hokage was shocked. Only one person in the entire village called him that. And Naruto? Is that really you? It's all me, Gigi. I'll tell you why I look like this tomorrow, but first can you get Ms. Yuhi to the hospital? I'm about to give out. Okay, Naruto. The Sandame said. He then called for Anbu to take Karina to the hospital. Then Naruto collapsed, and the Sandame caught him. Sarutobi thought, I better take him to the Hokage mansion. He took Naruto to his estate, so he could rest. Tomorrow is going to be a long day, the Sandaime thought. The blazing dragon. The next day, Naruto found himself face down in a bunch of sewer water. He lifted his head to see a massive cage in front of him. So, my container finally graces me with his presence. A demonic voice called out. Who's there? Naruto asked. You do not know who I am? I am the Lord of the Demons, leader of the foxes, the almighty Kyuubi no Kitsune, the voice said again. Suddenly, Naruto saw a powerful entity emerge inside the cage. He then started choking on the killer intent the creature was releasing. Impressive. Not many can stand the killer intent I release without dying or going insane. Or both. The Kyuubi said, yeah, well, I have a strong will. Now I know why the villagers call me a demon. I have the Kyuubi inside of me. Naruto thought aloud. Yes, you do, no Ko-1. Also, what villagers call you a demon? The Kyuubi asked. I get called a demon every day by most of the people in my village. Naruto replied. I see. Place your hand on the bars. The Kyuubi told him, fine, but if you try anything funny, I will make this cage so tight, you'll be begging for air and mercy. Naruto said. The Kyuubi was impressed. This boy, who did not know who it was, actually had the balls to threaten it. The Kyuubi then placed its paw on the bars. Naruto could feel the Kyuubi looking at his past somehow. After a few seconds, it made a very angry face. The Kyuubi took its paw away and began thrashing violently. Let me at them. Let me at those ruthless, vicious child beaters, it roared. Naruto could see all of its tails lashing out in anger. Then it calmed down. And okay, no, cub, for those ruthless people, calling you a member of the human race is too high an honor to bestow on them. Ask me for one thing, anything, and I will see that you receive it, the Kyuubi told him. All I request is that you experience the outside world. Naruto said. The Kyuubi was shocked. You would honestly give up a request to do something for me? Of course I would. I realize that when you attacked Konoha, it might not have been your fault. Just because a demon is a demon, doesn't mean that every demon wants to destroy the world. A giant tear fell out of the Kyuubi's eye. It hit the ground with a huge plop and burst, soaking Naruto. That is the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me and said to me since I was a kid. Your request shall be granted. If you will allow it, I will access your senses to smell, hear, see, and taste everything you do. It said. Of course I will allow it. My request was for you to experience the outside world. Even if it is through me, I will allow it. He told the demon. Thank you, cub. You shall be greatly revered in the demon world. You are welcome, Kyuubi. The Kyuubi laid its paw in front of Naruto. For this to happen, you must place your hand on my paw, the Kyuubi instructed. Naruto complied. Suddenly, he could feel a link being connected from his mind to the Kyuubi's. It is done. We now share a mental link, which will allow me to access your senses. I can also instruct you from your mind. Only Moru and you will be able to hear me, it said. Wait. Why Moru? Naruto asked. I can tell you why, Naruto. He heard a familiar voice say. He turned to see a man, who looked almost exactly like him, except he had red hair, gold skin, and royal blue eyes. Moru? He asked. Yep, it's me, Naruto. The reason you and I can hear Kyuubi is because you and I already had a mental link, and when Kyuubi tapped into your senses, she also tapped into our mental link. Wait, Kyuubi's a SHE? Yes, I am, Naruto. Naruto turned to see Kyuubi shrinking down to the size of a human. She then stood up on two legs. Naruto was amazed. Kyuubi was one of the most beautiful women he had ever seen, right alongside Karina. She had reddish-orange hair, beautiful jade-green eyes, orange fox ears, 9 orange and white fox tails, and D-cup breasts. The funny thing was, she was completely naked. Kyuubi then turned back into her demon fox form. Wow! Was all Naruto could say. Then a rotten stench filled the air. That snapped Naruto out of it. EW. What is that stench? He asked. He then saw a dead fish float by. How the fuck did that get in here? He asked. Moru shrugged. I don't know. It's your mind. He said. Well, how do I get rid of the stench? Naruto asked. Just think of a different landscape. Moru told him. Naruto thought of a grassy field near a lake with a waterfall. Kyuubi gasped. Judging by Kyuubi's gasp, he had done it. Oh my freaking god, I have to take a bath. Kyuubi began running, and turned back into her human form. Naruto just stared and drooled. Kyuubi stopped and noticed him. Are you feeling uncomfortable, Naruto-kun? She said seductively. Naruto's head turned crimson red. He began babbling nonsense, then passed out. Kyuubi giggled. Really, Kyuubi? Really? Moru said as they faded away. Naruto woke up on a soft bed, back to normal. Wait, a bed, he thought. He sat up and looked around to see where he was, and he saw that he was in a nice bedroom. How did I get here? Naruto asked in his mind. Moru then spoke up. You don't remember? He asked. No, why? Moru invisibly facepalmed. Remember how yesterday you saved that woman? Yes, I do. And I remember arriving at the Hokage's office, scaring the pee out of Gigi. Why more rhymes? Giving Tenchi-chan to 4 Anbu to take her to the hospital, then passing out. Now I just woke up here, and I don't know where here is. Well, from what I observed, we are in the Hokage mansion. The Hokage brought you here after you passed out, and laid you in bed. Now you woke up. Mora told him. Oh, Naruto now understood where he was. Suddenly, the third Hokage walked in. Hello, Naruto. How are you doing? He asked. Hello, Gigi. I'm doing fine, thanks for asking, Naruto replied. Naruto, there is something I need you to tell me. How come you looked like you did last night? The third Hokage asked Naruto. I'll tell you, Gigi. Naruto then told the story of how he had been eating at the Akimichi barbecue restaurant, then his being chased by villagers, how he just happened upon the paper he found. He did mention how Mora was a living sword, and how Mora had taught him the attack he used against the bandit. Finally, he told of the battle to save Karina from being raped. The Hokage was amazed. A child, not even a genin, had beaten 2 bandits, stopped an A-rank earth jutsu with a fire attack, and moved with speed nearly equal to that of the yondaime. Naruto? Sarutobi asked. Yes, Gigi, how would you like to enter the ninja academy in a couple of months? Really, Gigi? Yes, really, Naruto. Okay. Perfect, I'll set up the papers. Oh, and Gigi? Yes, Naruto? Please do not tell Kurinai-chan who saved her. Tell her it was a swordsman who went by his code of honor. I don't want her searching for me, to thank me, so she can be spared from the pain of being put together as someone who the villagers would utterly hate with everything they have. Naruto said. Why would you suppose that? The Sandaime asked. Because I know that the villagers hate me and do not respect me. I have nearly been assassinated every one of my birthdays, and I do not want any villagers to attempt to assassinate her if she were to celebrate my birthday. Such a beautiful, innocent woman does not need such trouble and agony thrown on her. I do not need her to thank me, as it will only cause her trouble for the rest of her life, and I do not wish for her pity. I have moved on and do not think about what the villagers have done in the past. I only focus on the future. Naruto told him. Hi, Naruto-kun. The Hokage said. And with that, Sarutobi began filling out paperwork for Naruto to enter the academy. Character focus change. Karina woke up in a hospital bed. She had awakened groggily first. Then her eyes widened as she realized she was in the hospital. She quickly checked under her covers. Phew, I'm wearing clothes, she thought. Then all the memories of the past day came back to her. Her and her team fighting the bandits, being captured, her friends being raped before her very eyes, her friends being shackled, putting the bandits in a genjutsu, running out of energy, having her clothes being taken off forcibly. But then, she remembered the mystery swordsman with fiery hair that stood pointed upwards in a curve, as if they were pointing to something in the sky, his golden eyes, his shinken that radiated power, but most importantly, the royal blue and golden streaked aura that surrounded the boy. It felt as if he was made of celestial power. A nurse came in and said, All right, Ms. Yuhi, you're all ready to check out. This quickly snapped Karina out of her thoughts. Okay, she quickly said. She then saw that her regular clothes were sitting on a chair next to her bed. They had a note on them that read, Here are some clothes to change into. From Anki-chan, too, with a chibi Anko next to the signature with its hand held out, and its fingers in AV. She got out of bed, feeling fully healed, and changed into the clothes Anko had left her. She then checked out of the hospital, and left to go find Anko, the Dango's shack. Karina was walking towards the Dango's shack, Anko's favorite restaurant that held the blessed food of the gods. Karina walked over to the shack and sat down next to Anko. Karina thought of a way to get Anko back for all the time she had pranked her as a kid. Karina creeped over, put her mouth near Anko's ear, and was about to shout, but suddenly, Anko said, Hey, Ki-chan, 3. Karina was puzzled. How did Anko notice her? Anko saw the look on Karina's face and pointed a person beneath a tree across the street. The person walked forward and revealed themselves to be Anko. Karina's head switched between facing the 2 Ankos. Suddenly, the Anko at the shack melted into a puddle of mud. Karina was mad. Anko had gotten her yet again. So, why were you in the hospital? Anko asked. Well, I was in the hospital because I had nearly gotten raped by 2 repulsive thieves. She then told the story of what had happened before that, how she and her teammates were on a mission when they faced bandits, how they had gotten captured. When she came to the part of how her friends had been raped before her very eyes, she burst into tears. Anko calmed her down, saying that they would rescue her friends. Then she told Anko of how she had nearly escaped from the bandits, but ran out of energy, and had been captured again. Then she talked about how the bandits were ripping off her clothing, and that she had thought nobody could save her. Suddenly, I heard a boy's voice saying, Hey, you heartless, leave her alone, now. Then I heard the bandit at my head say, What are you gonna do about it, brat? I looked up to see a boy, who could have been no more than 8, finish whispering something. He suddenly had a powerful royal blue aura that had golden streaks around him, hair the color of flames that stood straight up in the air, as if it were pointing towards a point above him in the sky, golden eyes, and a shinken that radiated immense and ancient power. He looked like a being from the heavens. He then told them again to leave me alone, this time in a demonic voice. They said no way, and he charged forward, then disappeared. The bandits looked around in shock. He had moved so fast they couldn't even see him. He suddenly appeared next to the bandit at my head and said, "You die first. Dine in hell, you son of a bitch," and decapitated the man. He then disappeared again, and reappeared back where he originally was. The other guy screamed at him for killing the first guy, who apparently was his brother. The boy then said, "Tch. He deserved it." The man howled in rage and did multiple hand signs. He then said, "Doton, Chiki Yari no Jutsu?" A spear made of earth broke out of the ground, and charged towards the boy. I thought all hope was lost for me not getting raped, yet I still hoped the boy would find a way, but then he whispered something. He then ran forward holding his blade out with 2 hands. He jumped, and began to spin rapidly like the Inuzu's Gutsuga attacks. He kept spinning and moving forward. Suddenly, he was coated in flames. He kept spinning. Then, the flames around him formed the shape of a dragon's head, while he was still spinning inside it. I was surprised to say the least at how he wasn't getting hurt at all, and he was only 12 years old. He met the earth spear head on, but somehow drilled through it, and continued moving. He then went straight through the torso of the last bandit, leaving a gaping burning hole in the man. He did a flip, landed, and the flames dispersed. The bandit tried to speak, but all that came out was blood. The bandit fell to his hands and knees, then slumped. The boy walked over and decapitated the corpse. He then came over to me and asked, "Are you alright, Tenchi-chan?" I blushed at the name. It was so sweet how he called me an angel. I told him I was fine and asked if he could get me to the Hokage. I then fainted. Then I woke up in the hospital. Anko took a moment to process this. So, that little boy saved your life. She said, "Yes, he did." I asked if anyone had seen a fiery-haired boy with golden eyes, and everyone I asked gave me a look like I was insane. I'm going to go to the Hokage to see if he can tell me who it is that saved me. Alright, Ki-chan. See ya. Bye, Anki-chan. And Karina left to talk to the Hokage. A few minutes later, Karina arrived in the Hokage's office to find the third sitting there, doing paperwork. Ms. Yuhi. What can I do for you? The Sandaime asked. Well, I was wondering if you could tell me who it was that saved me. She told him. Sarutobi instantly replied by saying, "The person who saved you was a swordsman going by his code of honor to protect. Unfortunately, he left the village after you were dropped off at the hospital. He is probably far away by now." Karina's heart was broken. Now she could never repay the person who saved her virtue. Okay, Hokage-sama. I'll see you. She shunshined back to the Dango shack and told Anko what the Hokage had said. Anko felt sorry that her friend could not repay the swordsman who had saved her. They sat together and ate dango. Then Anko said goodbye to Karina and left. Character focus change. Anko was walking home after comforting Karina, near a park, when she was suddenly pulled into an alley and her hands and legs were tied up with chakra rope. "Hey, what's the big idea?" she shouted. Her attacker walked out of the shadows. He was 5 feet 6 inches with brown hair and gray eyes. He was also butt naked. "Hello, my dear, you're going to be my new toy." He started to rip off Anko's clothing, and there was nothing she could do except scream, "Help!" She cried out. The man came forward and grabbed her arms. She broke free of the attacker's grip and said, "Sanaijishu." 2 black snakes came out of her sleeves and launched forward. The snakes kept flying, but ended up hitting a brick wall. A foot came out from the shadows and crushed the 2 snakes' heads. The man put a gag in her mouth. "Sure, my dear, there is no one around, so you have to do what I say." Fortunately for Anko, there was someone around. Character focus change. Naruto was walking through the park when he heard a shriek. "Help!" was what he heard. He quickly located the sound's origin with his newly strengthened senses. He ran to the corner of an alleyway, peeked his head around, and saw a purple-haired beautiful woman shout a jutsu's name. 2 black snakes came out of her sleeves and launched themselves. The snakes' heads were then crushed. The woman then had a gag put in her mouth. The beauty's hands and feet were tied up. Naruto saw that her attacker was butt naked and was ripping off her clothes. He was filled with rage at the sight of another beautiful woman almost being raped. He stepped out and said, "Hey, you soulless, get away from her now." "Oh ho, so a little boy thinks he can take me on? So be it. You are going to die today," the man said. Naruto smirked. "Actually, I think the tables are going to turn in a few seconds," Naruto retorted. "And why is that?" the man asked. Almost no sound came out of Naruto's mouth as he said, "Sarasushiro going." A violent royal blue swirl with golden streaks appeared around Naruto. His hair turned fiery red and pointed at the sky. His eyes turned golden, the color of his regular hair. A shiken appeared in his hand, and it radiated power. The man suddenly backed away in fear. Anko lifted her head slightly, and saw a boy standing there. Her eyes widened as she realized who she was, the swordsman that had saved Karina. He was exactly as she had described, with fiery hair, an aura of royal blue and gold, and golden eyes. The man started peeing his pants. "Oh crap," he squeaked. He could barely talk because he was choking on the killer intent being released from Naruto. For trying to rape an innocent woman. "You will dine in hell, you son of a bitch." Kasai Doragundaraira. Naruto charged forward with his blade out forward. He then jumped, and began spinning rapidly. Suddenly, he was coated in flames. He was still spinning when the flames took the shape of a dragon's head. The man stood where he was, paralyzed with fear. He knew he was going to die. Naruto finally drilled straight through the man, leaving a gaping, burning hole in his torso. The man fell down, with blood seeping out of the hole in him. Naruto went over to Anko, untied her, and took the gag out of her mouth. Are you alright, he behind for? Anko blushed. This boy was quite good at complimenting women. Yes, I am alright, thanks to you. My name is Anko Mitarashi, and you're the swordsman who saved Karina, aren't you? Naruto smirked. Yes, I am. How did you know? He asked. Well, I am one of Karina's best friends, and she told me all about how you saved her from being raped. She says she owes you her life. Anko told him. Tell Tenchi-chan that she does not need to owe me her life. I was simply doing my job. He said. Well, you're quite the looker. Anko told him. Naruto blushed at the beautiful woman who had said he was quite the looker. There was a silence as her honey-colored eyes stared into his golden eyes. After a bit of not talking, Naruto said, Well, I must be going. Wait, can I at least know your name? Anko asked. Hopefully, I can't tell you my name, but know that I will always be there to protect you. He told her. Tell Tenchi-chan that I'm back. Goodbye. He then vanished into thin air. Goodbye, she trailed off. The Blazing Dragon. Karina's house, 9 p.m. Anko arrived at the front steps of Karina's house. She went up to the door and knocked. She heard footsteps, and Karina opened the door. Anki-chan. How are you? She asked. In no time. Can I come in? Anko replied. Okay. Anko was already in by the time she spoke. She was miffed. Anko never waited for her to answer. Okay. I know something's up for you to rush in a hyperspeed. What happened? Karina asked. Well, Anko began. You know the swordsman that saved you? Karina's eyes then lit up with hope. Yes, well, today as I was walking home from comforting you, I got pulled into an alley. My legs were then bound with chakra rope. I shouted at the person who attacked me and told them to reveal themselves. My attacker came out of the shadows and I saw that it was a butt-naked man. Karina snarled at this. He said, Hello my dear, you're going to be my new toy. I was afraid, and the only thing I could do was to scream for help. So I did. The man grabbed my arms. I tore away and shouted, Sanaijushu. I shot snakes out of my sleeves. They missed and he crushed their skulls. Then he tied up my arms and shoved a gag in my mouth and said that there was no one around to help. I panicked thinking no one would rescue me. I couldn't get out of the chakra ropes. He began ripping off my clothes. I tried to scream, but couldn't with the gag in my mouth. Suddenly I heard a boy's voice, like you did, say, Hey, you soulless, get away from her now. I heard the rapist say, Oh ho. So a little boy thinks he can take me on? Very well. You will die today. I then heard the boy say, Actually, I think the tables are going to turn in a few seconds. Then I heard my attacker speak again. And why is that? He had said. I lifted my head up to see a boy that had a royal blue aura that also had golden streaks, fiery hair that pointed towards the sky, and golden eyes. He also had a shinken in his right hand. My attacker knew he was toast. My eyes widened as I realized he was the swordsman who had saved you, the one you had told me about. The boy said in a demonic voice, For trying to rape an innocent woman, you will dine in hell, you son of a bitch. Kasai Dorigundaraira. He then charged forward, jumped, and began spinning like the Inuzuka's Gutsuga attacks. Then he burst into flames. I could somehow see him alive, inside the flames, spinning rapidly. Then the flames began to take the form of a dragon's head. He flew forward and drilled a hole in my offender. The man was dead in an instant. He then came over to check on me and asked, Are you okay, he behind? You were right, he has such a way with words. I asked if I could know his name. He said that he couldn't tell me his name, then Karina frowned. But he did say that he would always be around to protect us. He told me to tell you this, and said, Tell Tenchi-chan that I'm back. Then he left. I immediately came here, and here we are. She paused to catch her breath. Karina pondered things for a moment. She loved him for saving her and not taking her for himself, but she now bet that Anko loved him too. She thought and thought but couldn't think of what to do. They both wanted to marry him, but he could only marry one of them. Anko, do you love him? She asked. I do, Kri-chan. I do with all my heart. He was so young yet so mature. I wished to be with him forever. Anko buried her face in her hands and started crying. Karina accepted her answer, and was sad that her friend's heart might get broken. She then thought of an idea, and said, Then we will share him, Anki-chan. We're gonna share him? Anko asked. Yes, we will, Anki-chan. We will share him, and never let him go, even if he can only get married to one of us. Anko now looked like the happiest girl in the world. Thank you, Kri-chan. I know he will love the both of us, I just know it. And oh, how right she was. Karina was happy that her friend had accepted. Now they could both be with the man they loved. Hokage's office. Naruto sat, staring at the third Hokage as Sarutobi accepted what he had said. So, the Sandaime began. You have saved yet another girl from rape, and this girl was Anko Mitarashi, Naruto? That's right, Gigi. And I'm guessing you still don't want me to tell her who saved her? Actually, she won't even have to come to you for answers, Gigi. And why is that? Because I'm going to reveal myself to them in due time. Are you sure, Naruto-kun? I'm sure, Gigi. Bye. And with that, Naruto ran off at light speed. All the Sandaime heard was a loud whoosh. The forest outside of Konoha. Naruto arrived at the forest, when he was suddenly pulled into his mindscape. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto landed flat on his back on grassy ground. He looked up to see a still naked Kyuubi. Gah! He screamed out. His face then turned crimson red. Relax, Naruto-kun, she said seductively. Kyuubi, please stop teasing him. He'll get enough of that when he's older. Moru scolded. Kyuubi pouted. Oh pooh. You're no fun. She then stomped off to Kami knows where. Naruto, as you know, your time to enter the ninja academy is coming up in 2 months. You already have a summon, which is amazing for a child who's not a ninja, but I need to teach you my ultimate attack. We will be working on it until you enter the ninja academy. Naruto smiled fondly as he remembered how he had gotten to sign the dragon's summoning contract. Flashback no Jutsu, Hajime. Naruto had been walking through the forest outside of Konoha, when he saw a black creature move swiftly across the path he was on. He activated his technique, and quickly followed the creature. It stopped right in front of him, and turned around. He gasped as he saw that it was a dragon. He thought they had been extinct for centuries. A dragon? He thought aloud. Then he heard a squeaky voice say, Yes, I'm a dragon. Why are you following me, powerful one? He looked around quickly, seeing that no one was there. Down here, the voice said again. He looked down to see the child dragon looking at him expectantly. I ask again, why are you following me, powerful one? The dragon asked. You can talk? Yes, I can, for I'm a summon. The dragon told him. A summon? You mean, the dragons have a summoning contract? He asked. Yes, we do. The dragon paused for a moment, checking him out. Then it spoke again. I can see that you are very skilled. Do you wish to sign our summoning contract? Yes, I would. Naruto replied. Very well then. Follow me. He complied and followed the dragon. It led him to a massive tree. Iti ja Kalumitos, it said. The tree trunk opened, revealing a stairway. Before you go in, I must warn you. The dragon told him. Down these stairs are 3 challenges. You must pass all 3 to be able to sign our summoning contract. If you fail at any of them, you will instantly be killed where you stand. Got it? The dragon asked. Got the message. Naruto said. Well, here goes nothing. He walked down the stairs to his first challenge. Trial Room 1. When Naruto arrived at the bottom of the stairs, a burst of flames flew at him. He quickly jumped out of the way before it could hit him. A voice suddenly bellowed from every corner of the room. Welcome to your first trial, a trial of combat. You must beat every foe in this room to proceed. Bring it on, Naruto shouted. Suddenly, a stone slab shut off all connection to the stairway. Very well. Begin, the voice bellowed. Without warning, 3 enemies dropped from the ceiling. They stood around him, the first on his left, the second in front of him, and the third on his right. The first enemy looked like a giant spider, but had a human's body, and a mane. The second one looked like a cross between a man and a cheetah. The third was the weirdest of all. It was a human's body, mixed with a bird and a cat. As all 3 enemies charged, he readied himself. When they stopped and attacked, Naruto jumped up. The enemies' attacks collided, and Naruto landed on top of them. He quickly made short work of the abominations. The voice made itself known again and said, Well done, warrior. You may enter the room for the second trial. The voice then vanished again. Naruto rapidly went down the stairs. He went into the second trial room. Trial Room 2. When Naruto came into the second trial room, like the first, the door to the stairs shut. Welcome to your second trial, a trial of wisdom. I will ask you a question, and you will have to answer quickly, or risk getting skewered by dozens of spears. Ready? The voice asked. Naruto nodded and said, Ready? The voice then questioned him. Your mom and dad have become village elders. There are 3 snipers ready, 1 to take your mom out, 1 to take your dad out, and 1 to take you out. You can only save 1 person. Who do you save? The voice asked. Naruto pondered for a moment. Then he decided on his answer. I have my answer, he proclaimed. What is your answer? The voice asked the young boy. The answer is to be silent and die with your family, then you will be with them forever. The voice then responded. Your answer is correct. You may pass to your final test. Naruto proceeded down the final set of stairs to his last test. Final trial room. Naruto headed down the stairs and was shocked by what he saw. The whole floor was a gaping chasm. To complete your final trial, the trial of courage, you must stride forward with bravery. If you are indeed courageous, you will stay safely in the air, and may proceed to the contract room, but if you are not courageous, you will plummet to your death before splattering like the contents of a bucket of paint. The voice boomed. Naruto had chuckled at the analogy it had made. Begin, it said. Then the voice disappeared. Naruto strode forward, completely without fear, as if fear were an insane notion in his mind. He calmly walked forward. When his feet touched the air in front of the stairs, it landed on a solid object. Naruto strode to the stairs on the other side. Well done, young warrior, you may proceed to the contract room, the voice told him. Naruto entered through the doorway, and found a lone path, leading to an open scroll on an ornate pedestal. As he got to the scroll, he saw that it was indeed the summoning contract. Go ahead. You have earned the right to summon us, the voice said. Naruto bit his thumb, and proceeded to do the steps to sign the summoning contract. Good. Now try to summon a dragon, a tiny one though, the voice instructed. Naruto bit his thumb and did the hand signs for the summoning, then shouted Tuchios no Jutsu. A poof of smoke appeared, and once the smoke had cleared, Naruto saw that the dragon he had followed was summoned. How weird. I guess I'm your familiar, the dragon said. By the way, my name's Smokey, he told Naruto. Nice to meet ya, Smokey. I'm Naruto, Naruto replied. Nice to meet ya, Naruto. Now you can summon dragons. You're the first person ever to do so. Congratulations, Smokey had said. Flashback no jutsu, ki. Naruto, no thinking back to the good old days. We need to get to work. Hi, Mora-sama. Author narration. And so, for the next 2 months, Naruto and Mora trained, from dawn till dusk. When the time came for Naruto's first day at the Ninja Academy, Naruto was very much physically and mentally strengthened. He also knew quite a bit of Kenjutsu. 2 months later, Naruto walked up to the Ninja Academy. Today was his first day. He was sure he was going to make an impression on this place. Inside the academy, Naruto walked inside his classroom, and chose a desk next to Shino Aburame. He had become good friends with Shino while he was training, as he saw Shino at the market every day. He would often go over there, despite the looks the people gave him, and converse with Shino. When the market manager told Naruto to get the hell out, Naruto would reply with a curt, "Shut up, old man," and go back to talking with Shino. Then after a bit, Shino would leave, having to get the groceries back to his parents. Then Naruto would go back to training. Clearing his head, Naruto then realized he was also sitting next to Sasuke Uchiha, the duck-ass-haired boy, the council's prized possession. Then he heard Sasuke's biggest fangirls, the rare, pink-furred banshee howler monkey, Sakura Haruno, and the blonde and annoying, but less screechy, Ino Yamanaka. They came in arguing about how the other would never get Sasuke to fall in love with them. After a few minutes, Naruto spiked his killer intent to a chokeable level and shouted, "Will you two just shut the fuck up? God, you're worse than having 8 megaphones put up to my ears with something screeching into them." The girls stopped arguing, and started choking on Naruto's killer intent. In fact, everybody else was. Once he brought his killer intent back to normal, the girls stopped arguing, and Irika walked in. "Hello, everyone, I am Irika Yumino, your instructor," he stated. And so, the classes went on, day after day, until it was the day of the Genin test. The first thing was a written test. Naruto passed it with ease. The next was Taijutsu, when Naruto got paired up with Sasuke Uchiha. The team kept coming at him, and he just kept dodging. Finally, Sasuke threw a powerful strike at Naruto's head. It connected to his head, but went through him. Sasuke was confused. Naruto had moved faster than the human eye could see. Suddenly, Sasuke received a karate chop to the back of his neck. Sasuke fell down, knocked unconscious. The Taijutsu test passed by quickly. Then came the final test, ninjutsu. They had to do the Bunshin no Jutsu, Kawarimi, and Henge. Naruto performed the Kage Bunshin with ease. Then he did the Kawarimi after Irika threw a kunai at him. Then Naruto henged into a perfect look-alike of Irika. The other tests passed by quickly. "Congratulations, you are all genin," Irika said. Then he gave them their hitayatesh. "Report back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. for your team assignments," Irika said. Then all the kids, except for Naruto, went home to tell their parents. Naruto went to the Hokage Tower to tell Gigi about his graduation. The Hokage Tower. Naruto arrived at the tower, and went straight up to the Hokage's office. "Hey Gigi, guess what?" he shouted as he ran into the Hokage's office. "What, Naruto-kun?" he said, looking up. Naruto just pointed to his Hitite. The Hokage was shocked. Naruto was now a ninja. "Well, Naruto-kun, this is a special occasion, so I have 2 gifts for you. Your first gift is a new apartment. I had bought it for you after you told me what had happened with Anko. The second gift is actually 2 in 1. I will take you shopping for new clothes, and then we will go get ramen," the Hokage said. Naruto's eyes bugged at the word ramen. "Okay, Gigi," he said. "Let's go now, Naruto." "Okay." They set off after the Hokage had ordered 4 Anbu to instruct the Jounin to come to the Hokage's office in 1 hour. The clothing store. Naruto and the Hokage were looking around, trying to find an outfit for Naruto. Naruto picked out an orange jumpsuit with blue near the shoulders. "How about this, Gigi?" he asked. The Hokage smirked. How about no, Naruto? We are trying to get you some new clothes, not turn you into a circus act." "Fine," Naruto muttered. The Hokage then found him a mesh shirt which showed Naruto's 6-pack abs. "Wow, olive cargo shorts, an ANBU-style vest, shoulder pads, and fingerless gloves. They bought enough of the clothing to last Naruto at least a year. They paid for it, and exited the store. Naruto, let me show you to your apartment. Okay, Gigi. The Hokage grabbed Naruto, and they shined to Naruto's apartment. When they arrived, Naruto fell to the ground, then vomited. Yep, the first time you shin is the worst. The Hokage said. The Hokage gave Naruto several keys hooked together on a rectangle outline of metal. These are your keys, Naruto, don't lose them, or you can't get in your home, the Hokage said. Naruto unlocked his apartment, and walked inside. It was so big. He fell on the bed and sighed in bliss. This is what it's like to have a bed, Naruto, just so you'll know, you'll receive a stipend from me the first day of every month to make sure you can stay here. Okay, Gigi. Goodbye, Naruto-kun. Goodbye, Gigi. The Sandaime closed the door as Naruto fell into blissful slumber. He then shined back to his office, scaring the Jounin out of their collective minds. Team assignment meeting. Now, since we are beginning this meeting, are there any requests as to teams or specific genin? The Hokage asked. Asuma spoke up. I would like to request the next Ino Shikacho squadron. He said. Granted, said the Hokage. Then Kakashi spoke up. I would like Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki. Kakashi said. May I ask why? The Hokage asked. As we all know, Sasuke and Naruto have a rivalry. I think that since Sasuke is the last of the Uchihas, he should be put on the same team as Naruto. This will spur him to strive to be greater than Naruto, which will make him a powerful shinobi, and he will probably be able to restore his clan. Kakashi stated his plan. I just love rhymes. Sarutobi then raised his killer intent to a very high level. Your request is completely denied, Kakashi. He shouted. You will not be allowed to use another student as a stepping stone for someone's progress. The Hokage was furious. Then he calmed down. I am going to be putting Naruto on Karina's team, he said with a glint in his eye, which made all the Jounin take a step back, even Kakashi. Karina was curious. Why is Naruto on my team? She asked. I am putting Naruto on your team with Shino and Hinata because he has advanced senses, which put him at the level of Nindog. The Jounin gasped at this. I was originally going to place Kiba Inuzuka on Team 8 because he has advanced senses, but when I learned of Naruto's abilities, I decided to place Kiba on Team 7, along with Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. With Shino and Hinata as Naruto's teammates, this will be the most effective tracking team we have seen yet. The Hokage told them. Okay, Hokage-sama. Kurenai replied. The Hokage mused his decision in his head. If Kurenai finds out who Naruto is, it will be most interesting. He chuckled, knowing that Naruto would be in for a shock when he saw who his sensei was. When the meeting was over, all the Jounin went home, with the exception of Kurenai. She stayed a bit to talk to the Hokage. The Hokage told her that she might want to bring Anko to the team's first practice. When she asked why, he just said it was just an idea. She said thanks, and then she went to Anko's house. Kurenai walked up to Anko's front door and knocked. Anko quickly came and welcomed her in. Hey, Anki-chan? Kurenai began. Yes? Will you come to team meetings? Why? I don't know. The Hokage said it might be a good idea. Okay. See you tomorrow, Ki-chan. See ya, Anki-chan. And with that, Kurenai left to go home, thinking about tomorrow, and what might happen. The Blazing Dragon. The Ninja Academy, 9 a.m. Naruto strolled into the meeting room, as calm as ever. He wondered who his Jounin sensei was going to be. He leaned against the wall, completely relaxed. After 30 minutes of waiting, all the Jounins came in. Naruto looked and saw that the two beautiful women he had saved, his Tenchi-chan, Kurenai Yuhi, and his Hibiheim, Anko Midarashi. They looked at him, and felt a tingle in the back of their heads, but shook it off. Iruka then began to tell who was on what teams. Team 1 will be Team 2 will be Team 3 will be Team 4 will be Naruto tuned out the first 6 teams. He only wanted to be on a team with Shino, his best friend, well, besides Smokey. He then pondered who he was gonna be on a team with. Team 7 will be he heard Iruka say. Kiba Inuzuka, Sasuke Uchiha, and Sakura Haruno. He then heard aloud, true love prevails. And 2 thump, Team 8 will be Naruto Uzumaki, Shino Aburame. Naruto smiled at this and Hinata Hyuga. Everyone heard a huge bang, and looked to see Hinata passed out on the floor, her face a crimson red, with a shy smile. Team 9 is still in progress, so Team 10 will be Ino Yamanaka, Choji Akimichi, and Shikamura Nara. He said. Ino was furious. Aw, come on. Sakura gets to be with Sasuke Kyuhin, and I get the fat ass and the lazy bum? That is so unfair, she shouted in rage. Calm down, Ino. Iruka said. These teams were assigned by the Hokage himself, so if you don't trust his judgment, you can resign from being a shinobi. Ino immediately became as silent as air. Team 1, your Jounin instructor, as Iruka said. He kept telling each team in order who their sensei was. After what seemed like ages, he got to Team 7. Team 7, your Jounin instructor is Kakashi Hatake. Iruka said. Teammate, your Jounin instructor is Karina Yehi. Naruto's eyes widened a little. Shino raised an eyebrow at this, not that anyone could see him do it, but didn't question it. And finally Team 10, your Jounin instructor is Asuma Sarutobi. Irika finished. Karina and Anko then walked over to Karina's group. They eyed Naruto and felt a tingle in the back of their heads, but ignored it. Teammate, meet us at Training Ground 11. Karina said, and with that, they shined to where the team would meet. Training Ground 11. The genin arrived and Karina spoke up. Now that we're all here, we will all tell a few things about ourselves, our names, likes, dislikes, goals, and favorite food. Hinata spoke up. Why our favorite food? She asked. So I can take us all out to get some lunch for a celebration after this. Now, I will go first. My name is Karina Yehi. I like romance novels, Anko, and a mysterious man who saved me from a horrible tragedy. I dislike perverts, rapists, and insensitive thugs. My goals are to see you all make jounin, and to find and confess my love to the mysterious man, whom I have fallen in love with. At this, Shino and Hinata raised an eyebrow, while Naruto's heart skipped about 1,000 beats, though he didn't show any emotion. And my favorite food is takawasa, she said. Then it was Hinata's turn. And my name is Hinata H. Hyuga. I like looks at Naruto. I dislike the sea-caged bird seal. It's in who main to H have a B bird and L like th that. My G goal is to become clan H head, and my F favorite food is cinnamon rolls, Next came Shino. I like bugs, helping bugs, and Naruto. I dislike people who murder bugs. My goals are to become clan head, and to help Naruto achieve whatever goals he may have, and my favorite food is wild grass salad, he said. The next person was Anko. My name is Anko Mitarashi. I like dango. I'm not going to put a mark on this one, cause if you didn't know that, you're dumber than a sack of bent nails, unless you're new to Naruto, which you shouldn't really be if you are reading this FIC. Karina, and the mysterious man that also saved me from a horrible tragedy. Again Shino and Hinata raised an eyebrow. I dislike what Karina dislikes, and also spicy food. My goals are to kill a certain perverted, gay, little boy and snake raping pedophile, too, and the same as Karina is involving the mysterious man. Naruto's heart again skipped about 1,000 beats. And my favorite food is dango. Anko told them. Finally came Naruto. I like ramen. I'm not putting a mark on this for the same reason as the dango one. Foxes, kenjutsu, swords, and nicknames. Once more 2 eyebrows went upwards to the sky. Only you could only see one of them. I dislike perverts. Because it gets really annoying when I'm at the hot springs, and I hear non-stop giggling from a man, rapists and violators, because those sick bastards deserve to dine in hell. Karina and Anko suddenly noticed the phrase dine in hell but dismissed it. And any man who tries to do unmentionable things to a woman, those kinds of people deserve to have their balls melted off slowly and painfully, and then have a glacially slow death before ending up in hell. His friends and senseis felt chills go down their spines when he said that. My goals are to someday have a nice little family that I love and to protect my precious people, and my favorite food is ramen. Naruto finished. Okay, team, meet me here tomorrow at 10 o'clock for our first practice. Karina instructed. Hi sensei. They replied. Suddenly, they heard a rustling in the bushes. Karina and Anko stood in front of Team 8, ready to protect them. Without warning, 12 ninja came out of nowhere, standing in front of them in a group. They all had headbands with the Kyuzugaku symbol on them, but had a slash on each, which crossed out the signs. Missing Nin. Karina muttered, okay, boys, kill the kids, but save the 2 hot chicks for later. Their apparent leader shouted. Naruto growled, filled to the brim with rage. This filthy, disgusting man had threatened to rape 2 of his most precious people. Stand back. He ordered. What? Are you crazy? Karina asked him. I'm not crazy, but I'm filled with rage. Now stand back. He replied. Shino, Anko, Karina, and Hinata all moved a yard back, feeling the rage and hidden power he had. Naruto turned to the man who had threatened rape. You have threatened to rape 2 of the most precious people to me on earth. You have also threatened to kill 2 of my precious people. This is a mistake you can never take back, you evil, heartless bastard. He yelled at the man. He held his arms out like part of horse stance, then shouted to the heavens, Sarasushi Rujing. A blast of royal blue and gold erupted like lava around him. His hair turned to living flames, and his eyes turned as gold as the priceless mineral itself. His face was full of rage. Anko and Karina's eyes widened as they saw what had happened. It was the swordsman they had been searching for all along, and he was right under their noses. He was the Jinchuriki of the Kyubi no Kitsune, Naruto Uzumaki. Karina, Hinata, Shino, and Anko gasped at what they saw, yet at the same time, they were calm. It was as if Naruto radiated death to his foes, and he radiated peace to his friends. Kyubi and Moru spoke in his head. Yes, cub. Kill him. He dared to threaten your mates. Rip his flesh from him. Kyubi said. Kyubi, calm down. He's already gonna beat the shit out of the guy and kill him for threatening rape. Let him do what he wants. Moru told Kyubi. You're still no fun. You need to loosen up, Mr. Permanent Wedge Victim. Have some fun. Kyubi told him with a giggle. Naruto went back to the real world. You would dare threaten to rape two of my most precious people? Not only will you die in hell tonight, but you will burn in hell tonight. Naruto, it is time for that jutsu. Moru told him. Gotcha. Mo was Naruto's nickname for Moru. Naruto began to gather up all of his energy. He raised his sword. He then channeled every bit of energy to all the corners of his body and sword. As others watched, Naruto and his sword began to glow. They kept glowing brighter and brighter, until Naruto shouted, Enarugursu, do munosausandiusurasshu. 3. Suddenly, the glow around him transferred to his sword. His teammates, his sensei, and Anko were all transfixed on the blade. He pointed the sword towards the bandits, and there was a flash of light, originating from the sword. The light lasted a few seconds, and then ended. As the light dissipated, one could see Naruto standing there, holding a double-bladed shinken. He then disappeared, and kept popping up at various points in the group of bandits. When you saw him, he was standing there. Then before you could finish one blink, he was gone. He finished moving around, and went back to where he originally was. Shinu 4. He commanded. Suddenly, one by one, the bandits turned black as night, then crumbled into ash. When it was all over, Naruto's aura disappeared, his hair wavered, then changed back to normal, and his golden eyes turned sapphire. He fell to his knees, then the ground, and laid flat on his stomach. Karina and Anko ran over, and held him in his hands. I guess now you know who I am, huh, Tenchi-chan Hibiheim? See you in a few hours. Then he fainted, all of his strength and energy used in the attack. Hope you liked it. Chapter 5 will come out tomorrow. The Blazing Dragon, Konoha Hospital. Karina and Anko sat in the hospital, asleep, waiting for Naruto to wake up. The doctor had told them that he was fine, and that he just needed to rest to regain his energy. They nodded and went to watching Naruto. Soon after the doctor had told them the info, they had nearly fallen asleep. While Naruto was asleep, he was having a fantastic dream, Naruto's dream. Karina and Anko stood in front of Naruto, wearing fabulous dresses that easily showed off their beautiful curves. Naruto was wearing a black tux, with a red rose in the coat pocket. They were in the fanciest restaurant in Konoha, with everyone tearing up. He was down on one knee in front of Karina, holding a velvet box with a royal blue ring that had a crimson diamond inside, the color of her eyes. Tenchi-chan, Karina Yuhi, I wish to be with you forever. You are the angel that floated down from heaven and found her way into my life. Without you, I would be on the path of darkness, alone forever. Will you marry me? He asked. Hi. I will, my koibito, 1. She happily responded. He then moved in front of Anko, and held open another velvet box, with a royal blue ring that had a violet diamond, the color of her hair. Hibiheim, Anko Mitarashi, I wish to hold you close and never let go, no matter what happens. You are the princess that makes this night's life happy. Without you, I would be nothing short of a sad husk of my former self, lost for all time. Would you do me the honor of marrying me? He asked Anko. Anko was crying her eyes out. A small hi was all she could manage. Then it is settled. We three shall be together forever, and no sword shall cut the chains that bond us together. He announced. Everyone in the restaurant cheered and clapped, and most cried. Naruto was going to be a happy man for life. Suddenly, everything froze, and he was transported to his mindscape. Naruto's mindscape. He once again fell on his back and landed on soft grass. And he again looked up to see a still naked Kyubi, with her cleavage hanging over his face. Ohgs. He shouted. I'm never gonna get fully used to that. He got up on his feet in a flash. What's wrong, Naruto-kun? Are you still uncomfortable? She said in a seductive voice. Naruto's cheeks turned to that crimson color again. Kyubi Mora's voice warned. Fine. She then walked away. So, what did you drag me here for, Mo? I dragged you here to talk about the dream you just had. The dream I just had? What about it other than the fact that I loved it? You do realize that those kinds of dreams sometimes show the exact, and I repeat, exact future? Naruto's eyes bugged. The exact future? So that means, I might marry Tenchi-chan and Murasaki Megami-chan? Naruto asked. That it seems. Moru replied with a smirk. Naruto stood there, just for a few moments, before breaking out into a huge grin and shouting, Wahoo! Outside of Naruto's mind, Karina and Anko sighed a sigh of relief as they saw a smile come upon Naruto's face. Now they knew he was going to be alright. Back inside Naruto's mind, Naruto, just remember that you're gonna wake up in 30 minutes. Do whatever you want during that time. Amo told him. I know how to make the time fly, Naruto-kun, said a seductive voice. Kyubi walked out into Naruto's view and charged over to him. She then took his head, and rubbed it all over her breasts. Naruto pushed himself away. His cheeks turned a shade of red. Not possible. Then he fainted. Was that really necessary? Amo questioned. Hey, he was gonna wake up in 30 minutes, and I wanted to make sure he got a good rest. Hee, Kyubi said, and the winked. Now come on Moru-kun, let's go have some fun. Kyubi said. Moru grinned and said lead the way. She then led him off to an unknown spot, and moans could be heard. All of them were feminine. Back outside of Naruto's mind, 30 minutes passed, and the girls were about to fall asleep when Naruto woke up. Where am I? Naruto asked groggily. Naruto kun. The girls shouted. Suddenly Naruto was glomped by a purple ball of energy and a black ball of energy. He was happy they loved him and called him that, even though he was 12, and they were both 14. Hello, Hibiheim, Tenchi-chan. He replied. Where am I? He then asked. You're in the hospital. Karina told him. After you used that amazing attack to kill the Kusanine, you fell to your knees, then the ground. We came over and picked you up, and you said, I guess now you know who I am, Tenchi-chan. Murasaki Megami-chan see you in a few hours, then you fainted. We brought you here, and the doctor told us you just needed some rest to regain your energy. How did you do that attack anyway? Anko told him, then asked. I had to physically and mentally train with someone special. Naruto told them. Who is it? They both asked. I'll tell you, but you have to keep it a secret. I don't want news about this getting out, then people attacking you and me. He said. They both agreed, and he said, you know the sword I have that appears when I say, Kami no Pawaza? The moment he said that, his technique activated, turning him into his Kami form too. He deactivated the technique. Then he started again. Well, that sword is not just a sword, it has an actual soul. And that soul is my special person I trained with. His name is Moru Ryu. He and I have a mental link. Moru took this time to transport himself outside of Naruto's mind, into the real world. Hello? He said. All three screamed very loudly. They shouted. Moru? You can put yourself outside my head? Naruto asked in shock. Yes, I can. And man, it feels good to walk around in the real world again. How is that possible? Naruto asked him. Karina and Anko were just sitting there, stunned by what had just happened. They didn't even register Mo's looks until after their conversation. It's possible. I can only do this every couple of years, but if I decide to stay outside my wielder's body, I can make myself a permanent body to be in while I'm in the real world, and I really want to. Is it okay with you, Naruto? Mo asked. Sure. Naruto said. Oh, and just so you know, we still have our mental link. This means I also can see everything you see, without you knowing. Mo said maliciously. Naruto felt a chill go down his spine when he said that. I can also transport myself back inside your mind at any time, but I will have my new body that I make. Okay. Naruto said. Karina and Anko looked at Moru, and studied him. He looked like a copy of Naruto, but with red hair, gold skin, and royal blue eyes. You look just like Naruto-kun, Karina said. I know. I look like Naruto because when I was first summoned by Naruto, he and I developed a mental link. When I establish a mental link with my wielder, my image becomes molded to look like them, but I take on the colors that appear when they activate the technique. Once I make my physical body, I will look like a different person, and I will have a new personality. Moru informed. What was all Anko could say. Naruto, do you know if there are any bathrooms nearby? Mo asked. Well, I know from my last time here that there is a bathroom by the third room on the second floor. Naruto told him. Then it's a good thing we're on the second floor. Karina said. I'll be right back. Mo said. He then went to the bathroom. There was a bit of silence, and then Naruto, Karina, and Anko heard a whirring sound, kind of like a generator powering up. From Moru's perspective, Moru walked into the men's room. Okay, gotta do it carefully, he said. Mo then began to focus his energy, sending it to the core of his body. He began to glow. The glow was growing brighter and brighter, and a whistling sound could be heard, like a bomb dropping from the sky. Suddenly, there was a shockwave of light coming from the bathroom. Back in Naruto's room, Naruto, Karina, and Anko looked to the wall as they heard a loud whistling sound. Then they heard an explosion, and a shockwave of light appeared from the wall. In the bathroom where Moru is, when the light faded, a whole new person was standing there. He was tan, with yellow eyes and green spiky hair. He was wearing a blue jacket, and a mesh undershirt, showcasing his 8-pack abs. He had cream-colored pants, and was wearing black sneakers. Feels weird, Mo said as he stretched out his hands and fingers. Moru walked out of the bathroom. A nurse quickly ran to where he was. What happened? She asked. Oh, well, I'll tell you this, you might not want to go in there for a couple of days. He lied. The nurse made a face of disgust and walked away. Moru then walked back to Naruto's room. Naruto and the girls sat there, waiting for Moru to return. After a few minutes, a man walked in. He had tan skin, yellow eyes, and green spiky hair. He was wearing a blue jacket, a mesh undershirt which revealed 8-pack abs, cream-colored pants, and black sneakers. Karina and Anko were surprised he had 8-pack abs. Hey Naruto, he said. Moru? Naruto asked. I am Moru, but you should only call me that in private, or in your mind. My name in the physical world is Takashi 3. Moru told him. Can I call you Tak? Naruto asked. Sure, whatever you want. Tak replied with a smile. Sweet. Then a nurse came in. She was one of the many villagers who thought Naruto was a demon. She wanted to yell at him to get out, but she had to treat him with respect. Mr. Uzumaki, you're all set to check out. she said, trying to hold back her rage against the boy. Thanks, he said. The nurse exited. Well, let's go, Naruto said. They all left the hospital. As they were walking down the road, Anko spoke up. Oh, and Naruto-kun, we told the Hokage about what you did. It was the most amazing thing we've ever seen, and the most amazing thing the Hokage had ever heard. After we checked you into the hospital, we left to tell the Hokage. He couldn't believe that you took down 12 missing nin all by yourself. He said that he was going to get a gift for you. He also had a gift for us, for making jounin. He got us both houses in a triplex. He gave us the keys, and told us to tell you to see him after you woke up. He said that with a glint in his eye that freaked us out, she said. Then Karina spoke up. Also, you need to meet your teammates, and I at training ground 11 tomorrow morning. See you tomorrow, Naruto-kun. Thanks for saving us. They both then gave him a kiss on the cheek. He blushed after they moved away. They then went to their new houses. When Naruto's blush disappeared, Mora said, Naruto, I'm going with you. You should tell the Hokage about me, but make sure to tell him not to tell anyone, okay Tak? Naruto and Takeshi then walked to the Hokage's office. Hokage Tower. The Sandaime heard a knock on the door. Come in, he said. The door opened with a creak, and in came Naruto, and another person he had never seen before. Hello, Naruto, the third Hokage said. Hello, Gigi. Naruto replied. Are you here for your gift? Sarutobi asked. Yes, I am, Gigi, but there's also something I have to tell you about, Naruto said. Can you put a silencing seal on the room? He asked. Okay, Naruto-kun. The Sandaime did multiple hand signs, then slammed his hand on his desk. Many seals lit up the room, all flashing. Then the seals disappeared. Go ahead, Naruto-kun, the Hokage said. Well, Naruto began. I'm sure you remember what Tenshi-chan and Murasaki Megami-chan told you about the missing nin. I do, the Hokage said. Well, you know the sword that appears when I activate my technique, yes? Well, that sword isn't just a sword. It has a soul. Sarutobi raised an eyebrow at this. That soul has a mental link with me, and he has transported himself out of my mind, Naruto said. So, he's running around in the physical world, without a hitch? The Hokage asked. Well, he's not running around, but he is out in the physical world, Naruto told him. Can you guess who he is? The Sandaime thought and thought, but couldn't think of anybody who would fit the profile. I can't think of anybody who sounds like that. He said. That person is right here, Naruto said. He gestured to Tak. Hello, my name is Takeshi. He said. So, you used to be the soul of Naruto's blade? Sarutobi asked. Yes, I was. Tak answered. Okay then. Now back to business. Naruto, I have a gift for you, the third said. He then handed him a key ring with 5 keys on it. These are the keys to your new house. Your house is part of a triplex, Sarutobi said with a glint in his eyes, which told Naruto he had something planned. Your house has a living room, a master bedroom with a king-size bed, a kitchen, a dining room, and 3 bathrooms. The Hokage told him. Naruto took all this in. Your house is at this address. Then Sarutobi handed him a slip of paper. Naruto looked at it, then said, Okay, Gigi. Bye. As Naruto got to the door, he turned around and said, Oh, and Gigi, please keep what you know about Takeshi a secret. Okay, Naruto-kun. The third responded. Naruto then left the Hokage Tower. Naruto's new house. Naruto and Tak arrived at Naruto's new house, and unlocked the door. His house was so big on the inside. Naruto walked into the living room and plopped down on the couch. This is a really soft couch, he said. We should redecorate. Tak raised an eyebrow, but said, Okay, let's go get some paint. They then went to the market to get some paint for redecoration. 3 hours later, they were all done painting. The living room had cream-colored walls, the bedroom's walls were painted royal blue, the covers of the bed were crimson, the color of honey and sapphire, the kitchen walls were green, the dining room was colored red, and the bathrooms were each colored a different color. One was violet, one was black, and one was gold. They looked around, proud of the work they had done. Moru spoke up. Hey Naruto, I think the Hokage was hinting you should visit your neighbors when he had that glint in his eyes. Emo said, Huh? Okay, Naruto said. I'll stay here and make dinner. Tak said, You know how to make dinner? Naruto asked. Hey, when you live in the physical world for a couple of years, you pick up on some things. Tak replied. Okay then, Naruto said. By the way, can you tell me what Karina and Anko's favorite foods are? Tak asked. You and Tenshi-chan's favorite food is takawasa, and Hibihime's favorite food is dango. Naruto told him. Okay, well, I'm going to cook the best dinner for your loves and you. I promise you all will be surprised. Now go meet your neighbors. Tak said. Okay, see ya. And with that, Naruto went to greet his new neighbors. Naruto, you're going to be in for a big shock. Takeshi thought. The house above Naruto's. Naruto first went to the house above his. Okay, Naruto, time to meet your first new neighbor, he thought. Naruto knocked on the door. He heard light footsteps. He wondered who was going to be his new neighbors. He closed his eyes and heard the door open. Hello, I'm Naruto, your new neighbor, he heard a gasp. He opened his eyes to find a woman, who had black long hair and crimson eyes. Tenchi-chan. I can't believe you're my new neighbor. He said. And Naruto-kun. She shouted. She then assaulted him with the highly dangerous flying tackle glomp of love. I'm your new neighbor, Tenchi-chan, he said. Well, if you're my new neighbor, then there's one more person that's going to be surprised when you see them. Karina said. Who is it? He asked. You'll see, Karina replied with a glint in her eyes, much like the one the third had. They went to visit their other neighbor, the house below Naruto's. Naruto and Karina arrived at the door of their other neighbor's house. Naruto knocked on the door. If the person who lived in this house was who he thought they were, Naruto was gonna be very happy. The door opened to reveal a random villager. Naruto frowned. The villager was a man, 5 feet 6 inches tall, with red hair and gray eyes. The man gasped when he saw who was there. Then he regained his composure. Sup? The man said. Naruto was sad. It hadn't been who he thought, his Hebeheim. Come on, Karina said, take off the henge. The man then spoke in a familiar feminine voice. Fine. He said. He then turned into a familiar sight for Naruto. One Anko Mitarashi. Hebeheim? He asked in shock. Naruto Kuen. She shouted. She then launched herself upon him in the still highly dangerous flying tackle glomp of love. So, you guys are my new neighbors, huh? He asked. That's right, Naruto-kun, Anko said seductively. It made him think of what Kyubi had done, and he blushed profusely. He regained himself, and said, well, would you like to come over to my house for dinner? Naruto asked. Sure, Naruto-kun. They both said. That's great, because Tak is making dinner as we speak. He told them. Takashi knows how to make dinner? Anko asked. Yes, he apparently does, he said. When you've been in the physical world for a couple of years, you pick up on some things. Okay then, they said. They all walked up the stairs to Naruto's house. At Naruto's house, Karina, Naruto, and Anko walked up to the door of Naruto's house. Naruto took a key out of his pocket. He unlocked the door and welcomed them in. As they entered, they smelled a delicious smell. Naruto noticed that they smelled something delicious, because they were starting to drool, and said, That's dinner you smell. Well, it smells really good. Karina exclaimed. I know. Naruto replied. Then he faced the kitchen, and shouted, Hey Tak, is dinner done yet? Just about. A voice shouted back. As Naruto and the girls walked into the kitchen, Tak took a large skillet off of the stove and set it on the table. Dinner is ready, he announced. The girls and Naruto looked over the food in amazement. There was a huge plate with takawasa, a nice, big bowl of steaming ramen, a plate with 15 sticks of dango, and 2 sizzling skillets of shampoo. There was also a heated teapot, a teacup, 3 sake saucers, and bottles of sake. Wow. You made all this? Naruto asked. Like I said before, when you're in the physical world for a couple of years, you pick up on some things. Takashi said with a smirk. That's freaking amazing, Naruto said. Well, what are you standing there gawking for? Dig in, Takashi shouted. The 3 of them cheered and ran to the table to start eating. They all took a bit of food from each plate/skillet and started chowing down. Naruto and the 2 girls each poured sake into a saucer, while Takashi calmly poured tea into his cup. After they had started eating, Naruto shouted, OH. My God, Moru, this is the best ramen I've ever eaten in my life. And I've eaten a lot of ramen, Anko said. This dango is so good. It's better than any I've ever tasted. Karina simply nodded her head and said, More rhymes, I agree. This is some really good takawasa. Well, thank you, Moru said. I've learned a lot about cooking, and I just put that knowledge to use. Once they had finished eating after 30 minutes, Moru said, And now time for dessert. I made Daigaku Imo, 5. Naruto and the 2 girls cheered, and shouted, All right, in unison. He then told them some bad news. Unfortunately, they got cold while we were eating. Naruto smirked and said, Not a problem. He then went through several hand signs, and shouted, Kuchio-sen no Jutsu, and slammed his hand to the ground. A poof of smoke appeared, and once the smoke dissipated, a small little dragon appeared. Karina and Anko shouted, Kawaii. Then hugged the little dragon, and kept petting him. He purred a little, which Tak raised an eyebrow at, and asked, So, what did you summon me for, boss? Well, I know you might not like this, but I need you to heat up our Daigaku Imo. Naruto told him. Well, you're lucky that Daigaku Imo is my favorite dessert, or else I might not be doing this, Smokey said. But just so you know, I get a little bit of it once I'm done heating it up. Go ahead. Naruto told him. Tak walked over to the stove, and brought back a pan of Daigaku Imo. Oh, this guy really knows how to cook, Smokey exclaimed. He then drew in a deep breath, and breathed out a little bit of fire, just enough to heat up the Daigaku Imo. There we go. Now gimme some. Naruto got out a cutting board and cut up the Daigaku Imo. He then scooped some of it into a small bowl for Smokey to eat. He set the bowl on the ground and said, Go on, Smokey, eat your din-din. Karina and Anko giggled at this. I'm not a freaking dog, you know. Smokey said, I know. I'm just messing with ya. Naruto replied. Well, I will not stand for this kind of humiliation. But Daigaku Imo, so sweet, can't resist, Smokey said. He then began to eat his food like a dog. Woof. Was all Naruto replied. You know munch munch I'm gonna munch munch get munch munch you back munch munch for munch munch this munch munch. Smokey said in between bites. Yeah, I know. Naruto said. Once Smokey was done eating, and he had poofed away, the four of them began to eat. Once they had finished dessert, they all thanked Tak for the meal. It was my pleasure, Tak said with a chuckle. The girls and Naruto went into the living room, and Tak said, I'll just leave you three alone for a bit. No funny business. I don't want to have clean up white goop in the morning. All of them turned a crimson shade, clearly knowing what he meant by white goop. Don't worry, we won't get that wild, Anko said with a smirk. Takashi then teleported himself inside Naruto's mind. As this was happening, Naruto held his head in pain. Once Tak was inside, he said, Sorry, Naruto, I forgot to warn you that will happen whenever I go into your mind. It's okay, just next time, please warn me before you do that. Naruto told him, Gotcha. Tak replied. The two girls looked at Naruto in worry. He saw their expressions and said, It's okay, Tenchi-chan, he behind. Tak just teleported himself inside my mind. Their expressions lightened, and they said, Okay, Naruto-kun. Inside Naruto's mindscape. Kyubi? Emo called out. Suddenly, he was grabbed from behind by Kyubi. Wanna have some fun, Mora-kun? She asked. You know it, he replied. She then led him to a small clearing. Back in the physical world, Karina and Anko looked at Naruto confused. He had a horrified, yet faraway look on his face. Suddenly blood erupted from his nostrils like a volcano. He then fell to the ground. Naruto-kun. They shouted in unison. They grabbed some tissues, then plugged his nose up. They laid him down on the couch, and waited for him to wake up. 10 minutes had passed when he woke up. You. He said. Naruto-kun. You're alright. Karina said. I'm alright. Horrified, and deeply grossed out by what I saw in my mind, but alright. He said. What did you see? Anko asked. Let's just say that if I were to tell you, you'd have nightmares for at least a year. He told them. They both shuddered at the thought of something like that. Tenchi-chan, he behind? He asked. Yes, Naruto-kun? They responded. Would do this poor soul the high honor of sleeping with him tonight? Well, Anko began. We both love you, but do you love us? She asked. I love you both with all my heart, all my soul, and all my strength. I would do whatever it takes to protect you, even if it means sacrificing myself. He told them. They both listened intently to his answer, then said, We will sleep with you tonight, Naruto-kun. We love you very much, and will not let you go. Arigato, Tenchi-chan he behind. Naruto-kun. They shouted. Then they glomped him. Come, let us go to bed. He told them. They all strolled into the bedroom, laid down on the bed, and fell asleep, each with the person or people they loved. The blazing dragon. Naruto woke up, in a soft bed, being cuddled by two beautiful women. One was purple-haired, and the other had black hair. They were Anko Mitarashi and Karina Yuhi, two of the hottest kunoichi on the planet. Anko was snuggled up into his right arm, with a happy smile on her face, while Karina was snuggled up onto his chest. He sighed, content that he had finally found love in a world where many wanted him to die. That was all it took to wake up Karina and Anko. Oh, Naruto-kun? What could possibly be that long stick I feel poking at my thigh? Karina asked jokingly. Naruto became very scared all of a sudden. Please don't hit me, he shouted. I didn't mean to do something perverted, please forgive me. He prepared for the oncoming blows to his cranium. Karina and Anko laid there, puzzled. Why would we hit you? Anko asked. Well, when we were in the academy, every time my down there place would get bigger, Sakura would notice it, and then slap me, punch me, kick me, or beat the snot out of me for it. I would just accept that I had done something perverted, even though I couldn't figure out what it was. It would really hurt. He told them. Karina and Anko were mad. Just because you think that someone did something perverted, it doesn't mean you needed to hit them. Inside Naruto's mind, Tak spoke. Naruto, since I'm a guy, I'll tell you why your down there place grows every now and then. It grows because A, you're still growing up, and haven't hit puberty, and B, it will happen whenever you see a woman you find attractive. It just means you're a growing boy. Oh, okay. Naruto replied. Karina and Anko saw that Naruto had a faraway look in his eyes. They remembered what had happened yesterday, and realized he was probably talking to Takashi. Anko spoke up. Naruto-kun, what you have right now is called morning wood. It's normal for men and boys to get that when they wake up. Really? Naruto asked. Yes, Naruto-kun. Then Naruto's alarm clock rang. Time for breakfast, he announced. He clapped his hands, and in came 3 kage bunchins with trays that had pancakes, waffles, bacon, sausages, and tea. You made breakfast for us? How thoughtful, Naruto-kun. Karina said. My pleasure, Tenchi-chan, he behind. Naruto told them with a smile. Well, since you did such a nice thing for us, I'll have 2 presents ready when you get home, Naruto-kun, Anko said, with a mischievous look in her eye. Okay, he behind. They ate their breakfast, and Karina and Naruto set off for Training Ground 11. On the way to Training Ground 11, Naruto and Karina were walking to Training Ground 11 when they bumped into Sasuke Uchiha. Hello, Sasuke, Karina said. AHN, was all she received. Hey team! Why don't you show some decency, and respond to my sensei? Naruto shouted angrily. Sasuke looked at Naruto with a scowl, then said, so, the baka is trying to be cool, like me. Not surprising. Naruto smirked, and replied by saying, actually if I was trying to be like you, which would be stupid, I'd paint a duck black and super glue it facing backwards on my head. I'd also have a bitcha attitude, and ignore every freaking person on the planet. A tick mark appeared on Sasuke's head, and he said, rhymes, go away, baka. I don't want to be embarrassed by being seen with you. Naruto just simply replied, go shove it, team. He held out his arm for Karina, and they walked off, leaving a very angry Sasuke standing there, fuming. Training Ground 11. Karina and Naruto arrived arm in arm, to find Shino and Hinata standing there. Shino and Hinata both raised an eyebrow, but dismissed it. Naruto saw that their eyebrows were raised, and said, I see you guys are wondering why I'm arm in arm with Karina-sensei. I escorted her here, to make sure she was safe. You guys do remember that I was the swordsman who saved Karina-sensei, and Anko-sensei, right? They nodded, then their eyes widened, except you couldn't see Shino's, as they remembered how Anko-sensei and Karina-sensei confessed that they were in love with Naruto. Shino walked over to Naruto, and whispered, so our sensei's in love with you, huh? That's something you shouldn't tell the villagers, at least, not yet. Naruto nodded and said, I know, Shino, why rhymes, I'm not planning to tell the villagers until I'm Hokage. Karina then took the chance to speak up. So, today is our first practice. I know you took the genin test at the academy, but that certainly wouldn't prepare you for the life of being a shinobi. What would prepare you for the life of a ninja, though? She said. Hinata and Shino were scratching their heads, Hinata more so. Naruto made it a little easier for them by asking, what is the ultimate quality needed for a group of people on a mission? Shino and Hinata figured it out in an instant. Teamwork. They both said, good. I see that you three can easily work together. Karina replied, I was supposed to give you another test, which would have required teamwork, but seeing as how Naruto-kun could knock me out with a single flick, and you guys already know to work together, we're not gonna do it. She told them. Hooray! They cheered. Now let's get to training. Karina said. 3 hours later, they had done physical exercises for 2 hours. They did push-ups while carrying boulders on their backs, which was easy for Naruto. They sparred, and they showed each other different attacks they could use along with their taijutsu. Then they had worked on chakra control for another hour. They practiced holding a leaf to each of their heads. Once they had gotten that down, they moved on to walking up a tree by putting chakra into their feet. Now they were at the nature chakra part. So, here I have 3 sheets of chakra paper. I would like each of you, one at a time, to channel some chakra into the paper. Hinata, you're first. Their sensei said. Hinata placed her index finger upon the paper and channeled some chakra into it. The paper turned to wet mush. Ah, water, a defensive and offensive element. Karina said. Shino was next. He went up to the piece of paper and channeled chakra into it. The paper burst into flames and turned to ash. You have a fire element. Very unusual for an Aburaim. Karina commented. Finally, it was Naruto's turn. He channeled chakra into the paper. The paper split in half. Wow, you have a wind affinity, Naruto-kun. That's very rare here in Konoha. Karina told him. We are going to train for the rest of the day on using our elemental affinities. Author's narration. So they trained for the rest of the day, practicing using their elemental affinities. Karina came to a different person every 5 minutes to encourage them and help them. By the end of the day, Naruto had 5 wind jutsu. Once their training was done for the day, they went their separate ways. Naruto walked Karina home, earning a few glares from villagers. He simply spiked his killer intent, and they backed off. Naruto's house. Anko had finished working in the backyard when she heard Naruto and Karina's footsteps. Ki-chan, Naruto-kun, I'm in the back. She called out. Naruto and Karina walked behind their houses to find a fully built hot spring. Wow. Karina said. Naruto closed his eyes and called out, Hey, he behind. Where or why? He was not able to complete the sentence because he had opened his eyes to find one Anko Mitarashi standing there in a sexy pose, with nothing but the bottom piece of a bikini on. Her CC cup breasts hung fully out for all to see, especially Naruto. You like what you see, Naruto-kun? She said seductively. All Naruto could do was stand there with his jaw hanging low and drool coming out of his mouth. Suddenly, blood started to spurt out of his nose. That snapped him out of it, and he quickly pinched his nose. Oh, Anko-chan. Karina said with a laugh. So you built a hot spring? Karina asked. That's right. Anko replied. Well, let's get in. Karina ripped off her shirt and bra, revealing her C-cup breasts for Naruto to see. Once more, blood spurted out of his nose, and he had to pinch it. Karina and Anko jumped in the hot spring, splashing Naruto. Ow! Ow! He shouted. Naruto started dancing around like a monkey. When he calmed down, he said, Be right back. I gotta get my swim trunks. No need, Naruto-kun. Just take off your shirt and jump in. Anko told him. Alright. Naruto took off his shirt, and Karina and Anko could only stare. They looked at Naruto's torso, and saw that he had 8-pack abs, and he was only a 12-year-old boy. He saw they were staring and asked, "Do you like what you see?" Karina and Anko just stared, and said, "Wow." Naruto walked over to the hot spring, and climbed on in. This feels great," Naruto said. They all relaxed. They had completed a hard day of work, and were now cooling off, soaking away their troubles. Once they had relaxed, they all got changed, and went to bed, without a worry in the world. The blazing dragon. Naruto again woke up, feeling great, and being cuddled by 2 of the most beautiful women on the planet. He sighed, lost in thoughts of love. Anko again woke up to the sound of her lover's sigh, while Karina remained sleeping blissfully. "Good morning, Naruto-kun," Anko said in a wistful voice. "Good morning, my Haim," he replied in a sweet voice. Naruto and Anko cuddled. Naruto's alarm clock rang, and Karina awakened. "Good morning, my koi one," she said. Naruto heard her voice, and replied, "Good morning, my Tenchi." He hugged them both, and was happy in their company. "It is now time for breakfast again," he announced. Like yesterday, he clapped his hands, and in came 3 Kage bunchins with trays of food. "You're so sweet, Naruto-kun," Karina said. Naruto just simply smiled, and held them both close to him. They ate breakfast, and Naruto and Karina got ready to go to team practice. "May I have a kiss, my Haim?" he asked. "Certainly, Naruto-kun," Anko replied with a smile. Their lips touched together, and Naruto and Anko kissed for a minute or two, both of them enjoying it. When they stopped, Naruto and Karina headed for the door, and Naruto said, "Goodbye, my Haim. I will see you after practice." Naruto said, "Goodbye, Naruto-kun. Be prepared for when you get home." And with that, Naruto and Karina went to their practice, making sure to take a different route than yesterday to avoid Sasuke. Training Ground 11. When Naruto and Karina arrived at Training Ground 11, once more, Shino and Hinata were there, chatting. Karina spoke up. "Alright, students, today we will." Before she could finish, an ANBU appeared and handed her a scroll. She opened it, and read it. "Karina Yahi, I request you and your team to come to my office immediately. I know of your group's abilities, and am sending you and your team on a mission to wave with Team 7. The mission is C rank, but I feel your team is worthy of it. Also, this mission may possibly escalate to a B rank mission with inclusion of enemy shinobi. Please report to my office as fast as you can. Hiruzen Sarutobi, Sandame Hokage." Karina looked up and began to speak. "Alright, team. We need to report to the Hokage's office immediately. We are being sent on our first mission, a C rank. However, this mission may escalate to a B rank mission with the inclusion of enemy shinobi. Shino, Hinata, I know you two have not made your first kills yet, but you will have to on this mission." Naruto noticed that they had not made their first kills, and encouraged them by saying, "Shino, Hinata, even though you have not made your first kills, you will have to on the mission. Do not relish killing, simply do it because you have to, or else you will die. If you do not kill an enemy shinobi, they will come back at full force, and kill you." Hinata and Shino nodded. They all went to the Hokage's office, ready for their first mission. The Hokage's office. Naruto was the first to enter. When he walked in, he saw Team 7 and Kakashi standing there, waiting for them. "Oh, come on! We're on a joint mission with the Emo TME, and the Banshee? The only normal one out of them is Kiba," Naruto shouted in rage. The rest of his team heard him shouting and ran in. They all saw what he was shouting about, and stood silent. "Naruto-kun, calm down," Karina said. All members of Team 7 raised an eyebrow at the suffix. "Why are you calling the baka Naruto-kun?" Sasuke asked. Naruto smirked. "I see you haven't heard," he said. Team 7 looked confused. Naruto sighed, and said, 6 months ago, Kurenai-sensei was attacked and nearly raped." Team 7's eyes widened at this. "Note, I said nearly. A mysterious swordsman stepped in before 2 bandits could rape her. He had a terrifying aura of royal blue and gold, orange and red hair that looked like living flames, and golden eyes the color of the sun. He quickly attacked and decapitated one of the thieves. He then did an attack where he ran, jumped, and spun around like the attacks Kiba uses. Kiba became even more interested at that point. He kept spinning forward, being levitated by an invisible power. He suddenly burst into flames. He was still alive, though, spinning rapidly inside the flames. Team 7 stared in disbelief. The flames then took the form of a dragon's head. He kept spinning, and went straight through the torso of the remaining bandit. The man was dead in an instant. The swordsman leaped, and landed, and the flames went away. He went over to check on Kurenai-sensei. He made sure she was okay, then took her to the Hokage, who had her taken to the hospital. Team 7 and Kakashi just stood there, their jaws hanging low. "That swordsman was me," Naruto finished. Sasuke smirked and said, "That was really you, Dobe." "Ha! Don't make me laugh. You aren't worthy of such power." Naruto smirked and simply replied, "You wanna see it? Fine. Whatever you want, your teamness." Sasuke scowled at your teamness. Naruto simply held his arms out like part of a horse stance. Sasuke frowned when he saw this. Sarasushiro going Naruto thought. Flecks of royal blue and gold swirled around him, and then erupted in a violent torrent. His hair became red and orange, stood straight up, and waved around. His eyes changed from sapphire blue to mineral gold. All of Team 7, including their sensei, went wide-eyed. Holy shit. Sasuke and Kakashi said in unison. Sasuke had a determined look in his eyes. Fight me, Dobe. If I win, I get your powers. If you win, I'll stop being emo for a week. But what does it matter? I'll win anyways, he said. Naruto smirked. Gasp. I never thought I'd see the day when his emo teamness would admit he's emo. Naruto joked. Let's fight at Training Ground 7, Baka. It will be a worthy place for your defeat. Sasuke said. Fine by me. See ya, team. Naruto said. He just stood there. Sasuke growled. Move already, Dobe. He tried to shove Naruto, but simply went straight through him. Naruto then faded away, like a paranormal entity, fading from existence. What the heck? Sasuke cried out as he fell to the ground. Karina and Kiba snickered, Sakura got worried, Shino stayed emotionless, Hinata giggled at Naruto's antics, and Kakashi merely stated, he had it coming. While everyone else went to the Training Ground 7, Karina went and got a treat for her and Naruto for after the match. While Naruto is waiting, Naruto was sitting on the ground of Training Ground 7, waiting for everyone else, when he got an idea. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he said. There was a puff of smoke and another Naruto appeared. Hey, a boss, it said. Naruto replied hi back and said, I need you to do something for me. I need you to. Naruto quickly whispered out the details of the plan. The clone's grin widened with glee. They were gonna prank the emo team so hard. Gotcha, boss, the clone said. Naruto then went and hid in the bushes, waiting for everyone else to come, while his clone hid himself in the trees just beyond the edge of the training ground. Naruto activated his technique. He lazily waited, then fell asleep. Psycho Oroku no Jutsu, the clone whispered. There was another poof of smoke, and it cleared to reveal a fully nude, very hot girl version of Naruto. The clone then cast a genjutsu Naruto had made up on himself so that to everyone but Sasuke, he would look like he was using his regular Oroku no Jutsu. At just that moment, everyone showed up, and Sasuke called out, Where are you, Baka? Are you too scared to fight? Naruto's clone smirked where he, or rather, she was, and said in a feminine voice, Oh, I'm not afraid, Sasuke-kun. As she said that, she walked out from the trees in a sexy walk and simply winked at Sasuke. Sasuke's face made a surprised face as he saw her. Before he could react, he was struck from behind by a blow to the neck, and was knocked out. Everyone looked up to see what had hit him. Standing above an unconscious Sasuke, who had a nosebleed, was Naruto in his kami form. That's what you get, ya emo shithead, Naruto remarked. Sakura was infuriated. Naruto Baka, stop acting like you're the best ninja ever. You just got a lucky shot, she said. More like Sasuke team had an unlucky break. Maybe he's also out of practice, Naruto replied. A tick mark appeared on Sakura's head, and she ran up to Naruto, a fist aimed at his head. When she threw the punch, a hand simply reached out at lightning speed, and caught her fist. I wouldn't advise that, Haruno-san, Naruto said with venom. Sakura just became angrier, and tried to punch him again. He knocked away her arm and backhanded her. She fell to the ground, out like a light. TSK, TSK, TSK. They never learn, do they? Naruto merely stated. He dispelled his clone and relaxed. He then looked at Kiba sternly. Would you like to try anything? He asked. Kiba shook his head and said, I love rhyming. No way. I have a snowball's chance in hell of beating you. Besides, I've wanted those two to shut the hell up since the first day at the academy. Naruto was happy, and truly smiled at Kiba. Would you like to see the attack I used on those bandits? I saw you become more interested when I mentioned that, Naruto asked. Kiba brightened up instantly. Would I ever? Any Inuzuka who heard of that technique would kill just to see it, Kiba said joyously. Alright, stand back, Naruto ordered. Naruto charged forward. He leapt into the air and began spinning. He spun rapidly, and suddenly, he was coated in flames. He kept spinning and spinning. The flames took the form of a dragon's head. He continued forward, faster than ever, and drilled straight through a tree, leaving a burning hole in it. Oh my god, Kiba said in awe. Can you teach me how to do that? He then asked. I'm sorry, but I can't. I learned how to do this from a special person, but they will not be able to teach you. You would have to have the same sword as me. I'm sorry, Naruto told him. Kiba was sad. However, I may be able to come up with a jutsu like that, but it doesn't require a sword. Once I have perfected it, which will probably be in 2 days, I can train you to use it. The training will take a few weeks though, Naruto said. Kiba was overjoyed. Alright, he shouted. Naruto got him to calm down. Are you willing to train your body to its limit? Naruto asked. Heck yeah, Kiba replied. Good. Now after the trip to Wave, I will train your body to its physical limit. You will go home every day, the most tired you've ever been. You will refer to me as Naruto-sensei when we are training. You will not relax unless I have given you a break. Understood? Naruto instructed. Understood, Naruto. Kiba happily replied. Now let's take these two and go to the Hokage. Naruto said. Kiba grabbed Sasuke and Sakura and slung them over his shoulder. Then Karina, Kakashi, Kiba, Naruto, Shino, and Hinata all went to the Hokage's office. Naruto and the others arrived in the Hokage's office. Sarutobi saw that Kiba had Sasuke and Sakura slung over his shoulder. Might I ask why Mr. Inuzuka has the other members of his team on his shoulder? The Sandame asked. It's a long story. Naruto replied, though they should be waking up soon. With those words, Sasuke and Sakura awoke and were confused. Where are we? Face me, Dobe. Sasuke shouted. Calm down, Sir Imolot. I beat you and won the bet. Now we're in the Hokage's office. Naruto told him. Your girlfriend attacked me after I knocked you out, and I knocked her out. Sasuke was full of shock and disbelief. There's no way you beat me, Dobe. Sasuke said. Naruto smirked. Oh really? I got 5 people here that can vouch for the fact I beat the shit out of you. Naruto said. Everybody but Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, and the Hokage nodded. He got you good, emo face. Kakashi remarked. Sasuke growled. Ahem. I believe we need to get back to business. The Hokage shouted. As you know, I am sending you all on a mission to Wave. You will be escorting the bridge builder, Tazuna, to his house to finish building his bridge. This is a C-rank mission. Now you must meet your client. The Sandame told them. Tazuna walked out. I'm not gonna describe him because you all know what he looks like. So, I got a couple of kids and a Cyclops to protect me? Well, at least there's a hot chick. She looks like she's fun. Tazuna said. Naruto immediately went up to him at light speed. If you even so much as go near her without my permission, I will castrate you with your own hand, and force you to choke yourself until there is no air in your body. I will then decapitate your corpse, and hang your head as a trophy on my wall. You got that? Naruto growled. Tazuna quickly shut up like his lips had been removed. Everyone except Karina was scared of the 12-year-old boy. The Hokage spoke up again. You all have 3 days to pack whatever you need for the trip, clothes, tools, etc. Report back here in 3 days. Dismissed. He said. Everyone went to their respective homes, and started preparing for the trip. Naruto's house. Naruto and Karina arrived at the front steps of Naruto's house. Anko heard them coming and yelled, Hey Kure-chan, Naruto-kun, I'm in the back. They heard her voice, and went behind the house. Once more, Anko was standing there in a sexy pose, but this time, she had no clothes on whatsoever. Naruto just stood there, with a hazy smile, drooling. Anko smirked, as she knew her plan had worked. Karina had a plan as well. She had gone without panties or a bra today to give Naruto a little surprise. She quickly ripped off her clothes. Oh Naruto-kun, she called out. Naruto turned slowly to find himself staring at a naked Karina Yuhi. He slowly started to drool again when blood shot out of his nose like a bullet. He quickly pinched his nose, and the blood died down. Come on, Naruto-kun. Let's soak and relax. Anko said. The two women went and got in the water with a long, Ayahaha. Naruto lumbered towards them like a zombie, his brain clouded with thoughts of how beautiful the two women were. When he got in the water, he snapped back to reality. He sat there in the water, relaxing. Naruto-kun, can you wash us? Karina asked. Are you sure? Do you trust me? Naruto questioned. We trust you, Naruto-kun. We know you won't do anything because of what happened when you saved us. Basically any grown man on the face of the earth would have only saved us to take us themselves. You saved us without hesitation, and you didn't even think twice about keeping us safe. We would put our lives in your hands, Anko said as she answered for the both of them. Naruto began to cry. No one had ever said that to him before. He had always been the demon of the village, the worst being on earth, the thing that without a doubt deserved to die. Now he had found love. Arigato, my kois, he said in between sobs. Karina and Anko started feeling emotional, and hugged Naruto, both of them starting to cry. Naruto wiped his tears away, and smiled a true smile at his lovers. They completely understood him, and now he did not need to wear a mask. He could be truly happy. They then got some soap and washed down Naruto. Naruto then took the soap and first washed Karina. He washed her back, then her stomach, then her neck. She moaned quietly when his hands passed over her breasts and stomach, but they didn't try anything. She rinsed off the soap, and he began to do Anko. He washed Anko the same way as Karina, her back, then her stomach, then her neck. She also moaned a little bit when his hands passed over her breasts and stomach, but again, they didn't try anything. Once she rinsed off the soap, they sat there and relaxed, enjoying each other's company. When it began to get dark outside, they went inside. Karina and Naruto began to pack for the trip. When they were all finished packing, they met up with Anko in the living room. Anko-chan, why aren't you packing? Karina asked. Anko looked confused. Why would I be packing? Anko questioned. Because you're coming along on this mission, right? Naruto asked. Oh, okay. I'll go pack. Anko said. She then bolted off at light speed to get everything ready. Once she had finished packing, which she had done in 5.3 seconds, she had everything in a sealing scroll, and was ready to go. She had kunai, shuriken, explosive tags, and smoke bombs, some regular clothes, and she also packed a sexy outfit. She got pleasure out of making men stare at her, while she just walked away. Karina had also packed ninja tools, and some clothes to wear. Naruto had packed the same things as the other two, ninja tools and clothes. They then went to bed, all comfortable, lost in love. The blazing dragon. It was the start of the trip to Wave. 3 days have gone by, with everyone having a peaceful break before the mission. Naruto had spent time with Karina and Anko, learning things about them that many people didn't even knew. In return, they had learned some things about Naruto that they didn't know. The three had sparred, practiced their moves, and lived together for the 3 days. On the second day of their break, however, Naruto asked a very unusual question. Hibihime, Tenshi-chan, do you have any objects that are precious to you? He asked. I have a one that my mother gave me. Karina told him, and I have a charm. It's my family heirloom. Anko said. Do you keep them in any safes, boxes, or any storage device covered by a genjutsu? Naruto questioned. No. They both replied. Naruto nodded and asked, do you mind if I store them in sealing scrolls? The girls looked at each other, then turned to Naruto and said it was okay. He then put his hands in a very familiar seal, and there was 2 poofs of smoke. They cleared, revealing 2 Kage Bunshins. Go and get Tenshi-chan's man and Hibihime's charm from their rooms. Naruto ordered. Gotcha, boss. The clones replied in unison. They speed off at light speed to get the 2 girls' items. They returned back in a few seconds with the 2 items. Karina's man had a shuriken-like symbol on it, with a crescent moon between each of the points. In the middle of it was an orb with rays of light shining out. Naruto saw it and said, It's beautiful, Tenshi-chan, but not near as beautiful as you. The heavens from which you came, and even the brightest rays of the sun could not even come close to shining as much as you, my angel. Karina blushed at what the boy had said. He was the only man she had met in her life that did not want her for her body. Thank you, Naruto-kun, she said. She then planted a kiss on Naruto's cheek. Naruto blushed when her lips withdrew. He then looked at Anko's charm. It was a crown with 3 points, a diamond on each of the end points, and a pearl on the middle point. At the middle of the crown was the word, Mitarashi, written in gold. Naruto smiled at Anko, and said, That charm is very regal, but not as truly royal as you. If you asked me for anything at all, I would give you the world to govern, my princess. Anko also blushed at what Naruto said. He was so sweet. He knew just what to say to make her feel happy. She always felt calm around him, and she loved him very much. He was the most mature person she had ever met. Thank you, Naruto-kun, Anko said seductively. This time, he didn't blush, since he had matured after seeing 2 pairs of breasts 2 days in a row. She also kissed him on the cheek, and he blushed. He got out 2 sealing scrolls, and sealed the items into them. Flashback was defeated. 3 Reader got 20 cookies. Reader leveled up to LVL 16. BLBLBLBL. Huh. Reader is evolving. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Bum bum bum. BM. Reader evolved into Fan. Fan wants to learn the move review. Which move should Fan delete? Bash computer. Ignore fanfic. Sleep through. Listen to flashback. 123 poof. The move Ignore fanfic was deleted and Fan learned review. On the 3rd day of their break, Naruto had talked with Tak inside his mindscape before his loves woke up. A wild flashback LVL.50 appeared. Go Fan. What will Fan do? Attack. Item. People. Run. Who will Fan switch out with? Fangirl. Nutbuster. URMOM. Yeah, she reads this. Fan come back. Go, NUT Buster. Wild flashback used BORINGNSS. It had no effect. What will NUT Buster do? Attack. Item. People. Run, you coward! What attack will NUT Buster use? Crush skull. Kick and junk. Screw the damn thing. Listen and beat the shit out of it at the same time. Nutbuster used listen and beat the shit out of it at the same time. Wow, what a long name. It's fatal. Naruto's mindscape. So, Naruto, I need to tell you about a very special technique you can perform. Takashi said. Sure, what is it, Taxilla? Naruto asked. Takashi raised an eyebrow at the nickname, but didn't comment. Well, first off, it's a technique you can only use when you are completely filled with rage. Otherwise, your body would not be able to handle the pressure of it, and you would basically explode with your guts flying everywhere by just trying. Takashi told him. Naruto tried to imagine that, but couldn't. He shuddered at the mere thought of it. Okay, that's just plain fucked up. Naruto said. I know. Now, it's practically an advanced form of your technique, Sarasu Shiragoing. When you activate this technique, you will essentially look like a demon. You will have the same color hair as your kami form, black, red, and yellow eyes, like those of a feral beast. Imagine Naruto's eyes when he's in his tailed forms before 4 tails, except they have black around yellow irises, and red slitted pupils, hardened red skin, blood red and like rock. You will sprout wings the color of your skin in this form, you will have black horns, and you will no longer have your aura. Also, your shirt will rip, which will cause the ladies to swoon. 2. I will be training you all day today, and we will take no breaks unless you're about to pass out. By the end of the day, you'll have a 12-pack, be able to lift an 8-story building, and your girls will swoon and faint. Mora told him. Well, that's cool. Naruto replied. Since we will be training for the rest of the day, you might want to tell your loves about it, so they know. Tak instructed. Gotcha, Naruto said. He then went out of his mindscape and into the physical world. Real world. Naruto warped out of his mind to find, hooray! X3, that his loves were laying right beside him. Hello, my Tenchi and my Haim. He said. Hello, Naruto-kun. They chimed. Naruto prepared to give them bad news. I am sorry, but today I will not be able to be with you, my Tenchi, and my Haim. I will be training with Tak for the rest of the day. He told them. What for, Naruto-kun? Anko asked. Well, all I know is it's basically an advanced form of my regular technique. I can only use it when I'm completely filled to the brim with rage. Naruto said, while Karina trailed off. I have to go now. Takashi is sending me signals that it's time. Naruto told them. In Naruto's mind, it's time. Come on, Naruto. Takashi shouted at the top of his lungs. Kyuubi walked out from the bushes after he stopped. Wanna have some fun? Kyuubi asked seductively. Tak grinned. Ready for round 2, eh? He asked. Oh, you know it. Kyuubi responded. She then glomped him with all her strength. They were on the ground, and before he could react, she started kissing him. It was a deep and passionate kiss. Their tongues fought for dominance in the other's mouth, and Tak prevailed. Kyuubi's tongue gave out, and she moaned as Tak's tongue probed every corner and every facet of her mouth. Tak thought he heard a faint voice calling him, but he ignored it. Naruto's perspective. Everything went black for a few seconds, then Naruto's mindscape burst to life before his eyes. Hey, Tak! Where are you? He called out as he searched around. He came upon a clearing with some bushes near the outside, and peeked his head in. What he saw just kind of grossed him out, yet turned him on. It was Tak and Kyuubi, French kissing. Kyuubi's body was pressed tightly against Tak's. Naruto stood there, his right eye twitching, as he felt his jaw hit the ground. Tak and Kyuubi stopped for a moment, and Tak turned his head to see Naruto standing there, his jaw on the ground and his right eye twitching. Of course, Tak commented. He then turned back to Kyuubi. Okay, babe, I got to go, he said to Kyuubi. Then an expression of confusion came upon his face. Had he just called a 1,000-year-old 200-foot demon babe? Kyuubi smiled. Babe, huh? Well, I will see you later, hunk, she said. Then she winked and walked off. Tak just stood there confused. He shook it off. So, you ready, Naruto? He asked. Naruto's single response was for blood to drip out of his nose. He slowly nodded his head, then noticed the blood and wiped it away. Good. Let's get started. Author narration. So Tak and Naruto trained the whole day. They trained Naruto's stamina, his speed, his strength, and his wits. By the end of the day, Naruto was too tired to even stand. Although now, Naruto was able to activate his Sarasushirogoing technique without even having to say or think its name, and his new technique without having to say or think its name. He just had to will them to activate. But Naruto, of course, could only activate his new technique, and turn into his new form which he dubbed his Akuma Ningen, demonic human, form, when he was filled with rage like a bucket filled to the brim with water. When that happened, the metamorphosis would immediately take place. He would change dramatically, with an epic scene occurring in the background. The sky would grow dark, and massive bolts of lightning would crash. In bodies of water, giant waves would form, and splash the earth. There would be earthquakes, and giant pieces of earth would rip the ground open. 3. He would have been only a few seconds away from losing his sanity if he had not learned the technique. Naruto had worked so hard that his muscles were swelling, and sweat made his skin glisten, even though there was no sun. At least there wasn't before he thought about that. Naruto was worn out. He managed to say goodbye to Tak before fainting. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto fell on the ground. He was panting heavily, with sweat falling off his tan skin by the bucket load. Thanks for the workout, Tak, Naruto said through heaving pants. Tak smiled at the boy. Not at all, my friend. Just doze for the rest of the day, and you'll be fine. You should probably take a shower before you sleep, though, Tak said. Okay, see ya, Tak, Naruto said before passing out on the ground of his mindscape with a wheeze. The real world. Naruto had fainted in his mindscape, and it took 20 minutes for him to wake up in the real world. By that time, his lovers were already home from whatever they were doing, and were laying by his side. All of a sudden, while they were laying there peacefully, Naruto's biceps, triceps, and such bulged, then settled down. It startled them, and they had thought he might have been having a seizure. When they noticed it had settled down, they calmed, and laid back down at his sides. When he woke up, they were silent, and had their eyes closed. They were quietly enjoying his company. Hello, my loves, Naruto said hoarsely. The two women stirred, and recognized his voice. Hello, Naruto-kun. They chimed. So how are you feeling after a day of intense training with Takashi? Karina asked. Naruto smiled and said, honestly? I feel like crap. This is the most tired I have ever been in my life. I'm even more tired than when I saved you and my team from the IWA Nin. Karina and Anko went wide-eyed. You must have trained hard, Naruto-kun. Anko said. Yes, I did. After we finished training, I fell on the ground, and Tak told me I should do nothing but rest. Except for taking a shower. I said goodbye, and fainted, Naruto told them. He struggled to get up. Karina and Anko kept him down and Karina said, Don't you worry, Naruto-kun. We'll take care of that for you. She looked at Anko, and they both nodded. They laid his head on a pillow, and Anko went to start his shower. When his shower was ready, they helped him take off his clothes, and they were surprised. Naruto had 12-pack abs. And he was only 12 years old. They took off his clothes, and got him in the shower. Thank you? He said. Karina and Anko smiled, and said, It was no problem, Naruto-kun. Are you able to wash yourself? Karina had asked. Naruto smiled at them and said, I'll be fine. You shouldn't worry. If training would be enough to take me down, I never would have survived the IWA Nin. They smiled back at him, and left the bathroom. Naruto didn't really have the strength to stand up, so he activated his technique. He washed his hair, then his chest and stomach, then his legs, and finally his back. He sighed as the soap was rinsed off his body. Life was great for him now. He had friends, a house, and people who loved him. In fact, he was so happy that at the moment, he didn't even care about what had happened in the past. He turned off the water, and climbed out of the shower. He dried himself off, and wrapped his waist in a towel. He walked into the bedroom, and changed into his pajamas. He wore a tight white shirt, and some blue silk shorts. He climbed into bed, and settled down. Tomorrow was going to be a big day. His ladies heard the shower turn off, and came in. They saw Naruto asleep on the bed, and changed into their pajamas. They climbed into bed with him, with Anko on the left side of his chest, and Karina on the right. When they settled down, a smile came across Naruto's face. They all fell asleep, with no noises to be heard, ready for the next day. Flashback was defeated. Fan gained 500,000 cookies. Oh my god, you lucky son of a bitch! Fan leveled up to LVL 17. Fan leveled up to LVL screw it, let's just skip to the good part. Fan leveled up to LVL 36. BLBLBLBL. Huh! Fan is evolving. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Bum bum bum. BM. Fan evolved into Favoriter. Favoriter wants to learn the move use flames to make Daigaku IMO. Yummy. 3. Which move should Favoriter delete? Comment. Favorite. Sleep through. Epic review. 123 poof. Favoriter forgot how to use sleep through, and Favoriter learned use flames to make Daigaku IMO. Hell yeah, now they were to meet up at the gates of Konoha at 11 a.m. Naruto was wearing a white vest with short sleeves that had the kanji, Ocarina, on the left shoulder, and the kanji, Fox, on the right shoulder. 3. Regular blue cargo pants, shinobi sandals, a black, 6-hold ocarina with hung on his neck proudly, and a pendant that Karina and Anko had made him, which had a fox with a pendant ocarina hanging around its neck. Karina was wearing a dark green halter top that had gold swirl patterns all around in the kanji, angel, in the middle, which showed her belly button, navy blue shorts, high-heeled shinobi sandals, and a pendant that Naruto had made for her, which showed a crimson-eyed angel on it. Anko was wearing the same halter top as Karina, except it was violet and had the kanji, princess, in the middle, sky blue shorts, the same shoes as Karina, and a pendant Naruto had made for her, that depicted a violet-haired princess with snakes all around her, the snakes seeming to bow, if snakes could bow. Naruto, Karina, and Anko had sealed all their items in scrolls, and strapped the scrolls to their backs. They walked out the door, and Naruto put a security seal on the house. Anko and Karina raised an eyebrow at this, and Anko asked, How are you able to use seals, Naruto-kun? Naruto smiled. Well, I can use seals because I learned them from some scrolls I borrowed from the ANBU library. I became interested in sealing while at the academy, and decided to study up. I can make security seals, fighting seals, and sealing seals. I'm also working on a custom seal, but it's not done yet. He told them. Anko became curious, and asked, What does it do, Naruto-kun? I'm sorry, but it's a secret. All I will tell you is that you will find out on our next mission, he said with a wink. Anko mock pouted. Oh pooh. Will you please tell me? I'll make it worth your while, Naruto-kun, she said with a wink. Naruto blushed, but calmed himself and said, I'm sorry, Hibiheim, but I can't tell you. But I will promise you this, woohoo. Rhymes? If it works, I will teach you both how to use it. Deal? Anko brightened up, and Karina and Anko both agreed. Deal, they said. Naruto nodded. Good. Now let's get going, he said. They all walked off to the village gate arm in arm. While they were walking, villagers kept glaring at them. Naruto simply shot out a pretty sizable bit of killer intent, and the villagers stopped. They arrived at the gates to find Shino, Hinata, Team 7, and Kakashi standing there. Naruto smirked. Wow, Kakashi's actually on time. Is the sun going out? I'm pretty sure it is. Naruto joked. Kakashi simply gave him a nice smile. Naruto was one of the people Kakashi felt great around. Naruto always understood what was wrong, and knew how to fix it. Plus, he didn't give him a hard time like the pink-collar monkey, and he wasn't emo like the duck-ass head. That made Naruto an A-okay guy in Kakashi's book, which surprisingly wasn't an Ika. They waited for 30 minutes, and Tazuna arrived. His eyes went a little wide when he saw Anko. Wow, now there's 2 hot chicks, hehehe. That makes it even more fun, he said. Naruto again went up to him in the blink of an eye, and said, remember what I said about the one with black hair. Same goes for the one with purple hair. Do not try to flirt with them, or cop a feel, or you'll wish you had been born a woman. Got it? Tazuna again shut the heck up. Naruto joined his ladies. Tazuna could have sworn that the kid spoke in a demonic voice, but didn't say anything. They all got ready, and began the trip to Wave. The 9 ninja hopped through the trees, while Tazuna simply walked along the road. 2 hours later, they were 1/4 of the way to Hinokuni, when they decided to rest a little. They picked a small clearing in the forest, and set up camp. They put up 5 tents, 1 for Team 8, 1 for Team 7, 2 for the Jounin. They figured the 2 female Jounin could share a tent, and 1 for Tazuna. Team 7 was about to start a fire, when Naruto spoke up. That won't be necessary, he said. They looked at him in confusion. He quickly went through the hand signs for the summoning jutsu, then slammed his hand on the ground, and shouted, Kichios no jutsu. A puff of smoke appeared, and Team 7 wondered what summon he had. The smoke cleared to reveal a small, very cute, familiar black dragon. All the girls had stars in their eyes, even Hinata. Smokey's that cute, as they shouted kawaii. And glomped the little dragon. They began to pet and stroke him. He purred clearly happy. Naruto smirked and said, Hey Smokey, I need a favor. The girls stopped petting Smokey so he could answer, Sure boss. What is it? Naruto's smirk instantly became a serious expression. I have a serious mission for you, Smokey. Should you choose to accept it, here are the details. Naruto said. He then unsealed the folder out of a scroll. He opened it, and placed it in front of Smokey. Smokey read it quickly and said, Seriously? You need me to heat something up again? Come on. Naruto smirked and said, How about I make you a deal? If you do this for me, and travel with me, I'll have Tak make you enough Daigaku Imo to last you 3 days. Deal? Smokey thought for a bit, then nodded and said, Deal. But you gotta keep your promise. Naruto smiled and said, No prob. Smokey then turned to the sticks laying on the ground, and started breathing fire. His cheeks puffed, and all the girls got stars in their eyes again. When the fire was lit, Smokey climbed on Naruto's shoulder, and shrunk a little. You can shrink? Naruto asked. Smokey rolled his eyes. Yeah, I can shrink. Now be quiet, I gotta sleep, he said. He then circled around on Naruto's shoulder before laying down like a dog. All the girls once more had stars in their eyes. Naruto quickly went and made a comfy bed out of wood and leaves in his tent for Smokey. He placed Smokey in it, and went back to the campfire. Everyone took out their food, and one at a time cooked it, except for one person. The only one who didn't cook something was Shino. He simply got out some wild grass salad. Karina got out some noodles, Anko got out some stir-fry Tak had made, Hinata got out some sushi, Kakashi got out some celery, which was weird, Sasuke got out some soup, to which Sakura commented, That's a great choice, Sasuke-kun. To which he ignored. Sakura got out a sandwich made by her mom, and Naruto got out some beef ramen. They all heated their foods individually, got in groups based on their team, and began eating. Naruto was eating his ramen faster than the human eye could see. It was a good thing he packed a lot of it. Sakura noticed he was eating sloppily, and went over to him. Naruto baka, you're such a pig, she said. Naruto simply replied with a HN. A tick mark appeared on Sakura's forehead, and she tried to punch him, with a loud cha. Her fist came so close to his head, when suddenly a hand appeared out of thin air and caught it. You might want to stop before you hurt yourself, Sakura, Naruto said without looking at her. Sakura had been so focused on the hand that appeared out of thin air that she hadn't noticed Naruto was in his kami form. Sakura was angry. Naruto baka, stop trying to act cool. You're nowhere near as cool as Sasuke-kun, she said. She kicked him in the back with all her strength. Naruto didn't even flinch before saying, You asked for it. He then tightened his grip on Sakura's hand until it hurt badly. Sakura fell to her knees, the pain in her hand increasing steadily. Suddenly, Naruto's grip couldn't be felt at all. He turned around, a blank expression covered his face. That was a warning. If you try to harm me, or Kurinai-sensei, or Anko-sensei, or anybody I protect, you will wish you had never met me, he said coldly. Sakura simply nodded in fear. There was a cold silence as she went back to her group. Naruto resumed eating, as did everybody else. When they had all finished, it was noon. They packed up everything, and Smokey got ready to fly. The ninja once more leaped through the trees, with Smokey keeping a steady pace beside Naruto, and Tazuna once more walking the dirt road. Naruto made sure to stay close to Karina, Anko, and his teammates. Today was going to be a long day. The blazing dragon. They were bounding through the trees, all 9 of the ninja, plus one little black dragon. They had been moving for 4 hours, non-stop, towards Hi-no-Kuni. Their client, Tazuna, was walking along the dirt road. They were now approaching the border of Hi-no-Kuni. While jumping through the trees, Naruto was talking to Smokey. So he began. What do you think will happen when we get there? Smokey thought for a bit. I don't know. We might face some bad guys. Or we'll get there safely, and the lazy sake man can build his bridge. Smokey said. Naruto nodded. They had to travel just a little while longer before they got to Tazuna's house. They all continued jumping, with no thoughts but to keep their clients safe. Tazuna's house. First off, I'm going to have the demon brothers come in after this, so please don't hate me if you wanted them to come in now. And second, they will be much more powerful than in the manga or anime. They had all arrived at Tazuna's house 10 minutes earlier, and were eating a nice dinner cooked by Tsunami, Tazuna's daughter. She had made noodles, sushi, and rice to welcome them. They were now sitting at Tazuna's kitchen table, eating happily. Naruto spoke up first. He said, Thank you for the food, Miss Tsunami smiled. Just call me Tsunami. She said. Naruto nodded. Thank you, Tsunami. He said. Tsunami once more smiled at him. It was no problem, Naruto. I'm just happy you got my dad back here safely. She told him. The others nodded their heads. Then a little black-haired boy came in, with an angry look on his face. He then shouted, You all don't get it, do you? Gato will kill all of you. You don't stand a chance. Naruto rolled his eyes. Why would you say that? 4 of us are some of the strongest shinobi in Konoha. He said, By the way, who is this Gato you're talking about? Naruto then asked. Tsunami took her chance to speak up. Gato is the vicious dictator who rules Kirigakure. He runs Gato Company. He has been smuggling illegal drugs and goods, has made us all starving, and has taken women from the village, and Tsunami said, trailing off with a look of horror on her face. Everyone understood what she meant, though. Then I guess we'll have to teach him a lesson. Naruto said coldly. Inari grew angrier. You still don't get it. He'll kill you. You don't stand a single chance. He's already made us suffer too much, and when he finds out you tried to stop him, he'll make us suffer more. You know nothing about what we've been through. Nothing, Inari shouted. Naruto growled. I know nothing about suffering? Have you ever wanted someone to like you, but everyone said no one should? Has anyone ever told you that you should burn in hell, but you didn't know why? Have you waited your entire life, wanting someone to show some freaking compassion to you? At least you had a family to love you. I had no one. I waited so long for someone to comfort me. I just wanted a hug, or a friend, but all I got was hatred, and anger, and beatings. I have had people stab me, and kick me, and torture me, and they wouldn't leave me alone. They beat on me when I couldn't even defend myself, and I didn't know why. So don't you say I know nothing of suffering. I have been through more than you ever have in your life. Naruto screamed at the boy. He was changing as he spoke, slowly growing horns and wings, his skin turning as hard as rock, and changing to the color of blood, his eyes changing to a mix of black, yellow, and red, and his vest slowly ripping. The earth was trembling before his supernatural might. If you looked out the windows of Tazuna's house, you could see the sky, dark as night, gigantic bolts of light flashing down and striking the ground, the seas churning. Inari ran away, full of fear. Before Naruto could change completely, Karina and Anko calmed him down. He began to revert back to normal, his features all changing back to his regular self, and his jacket fixing itself. When he calmed down, he fell backwards, and Karina and Anko caught him. Whoa, Naruto said as he tried to steady himself. But he couldn't, and he fainted. Karina and Anko looked up from Naruto, and saw that everyone else had bug eyes. Where's the guest bedroom or bedrooms? Karina asked. Tsunami snapped out of it and said, There are a couple of bedrooms upstairs, enough for all of you to have a room. We'll be right back. Anko said. The two carried him upstairs, and went into a room. They set him down on a bed, and tucked him in. See you soon, Naruto-kun. Yay! A rhyme, Anko said. She kissed him on the forehead and waited outside the door. In his sleep, Naruto blushed and smiled. Karina kissed Naruto on the forehead as well, in the exact same spot as Anko, and said, Don't forget, we love you, Naruto-kun. He once more blushed, and smiled happily. Anko and Karina closed the door, and went downstairs. Naruto began to have a strange dream, Naruto's dream. Everything was black. There was nothing around him. Suddenly, a single color burst to life, and he found himself inside a white space, with defined floors and walls, but nothing else. Suddenly, a familiar figure appeared in front of Naruto. It was a man. He had blonde, spiky hair, blue eyes, and was wearing a coat with flames on it. Naruto, he said. Naruto looked confused. Who are you? And how do you know my name? He asked. I know your name because I am your father, Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage. The man said. Naruto had a look of shock on his face. There's no way Gigi never told me who my dad was. My dad couldn't have been the Yondaime. He trailed off. The man smiled. I am your father, alright. The third Hokage never told you because, well, you're kind of a blabbermouth. Minato joked. If you had gone off telling everybody, my enemies would have found out, and they would have killed you, and I didn't want my son to die. Naruto had a blank expression before smiling. Well, that does make sense. I do like to spread the news. But I can't believe my father was the Yondaime. That's amazing. He said. Minato had 2 more surprises in store for Naruto. Also, I would like you to meet your mother. Minato said. Naruto's eyes filled with hope. And my mother? He asked. Outside of Naruto's dream, everyone but Naruto was back in the kitchen, eating silently. Kakashi was the first to speak up. So mind telling us what the fuck happened with Golden Boy? He asked. Karina and Anko both looked at each other, but shook their heads no. Sorry, but we can't tell you yet. Anko said. Sasuke was mad. Why not, woman? You will tell me, or else I will have the council all over you. He shouted. Karina looked at Sasuke with a stern look. Naruto-kun, as he would say, doesn't give a shit about the council. In fact, he said that if anybody goes near us, if they're a guy, he will castrate them with a swift blow, and if they're a girl, they will wish they never met him, she replied. Sasuke looked downward fearfully, then looked up. Okay. He said timidly. Good. Now Tsunami, how many men would you say Gato has? Karina asked. Tsunami thought for a moment. I'd say he has about. She was cut off as the wall broke open, 2 men with clawed gauntlets busting through the hole. We're here to kill the bridge builder. Meiza said. Hinata activated her Byakugan, Shino got his bugs ready, Kakashi got into a fighting stance, as did Sasuke, Sakura, and Kiba. Anko got her snakes ready to bite, and Karina was ready to use a genjutsu. So we got some ninja, huh? Well, that won't be a problem. After we beat you guys, and kill the bridge builder, we'll have some fun with the girls. Goza said. They all began to fight, with the Konoha shinobi losing. Back inside Naruto's dream, Kushina appeared beside Minato. Yes, Naruto, your mother. She said. Naruto began to cry. He ran at the speed of sound and hugged his mom and dad. I never got to see you guys. He sobbed. They hugged him back. He had finally known who his parents were. I have one more thing before we go. Minato said. A scroll poofed into existence beside Minato. He handed to Naruto and said, This scroll is a gift from me. It contains a technique I made myself, the Rasengan. I am giving this to only you, no one but your godfather, and you will be able to use this technique. Naruto became confused again and asked, My godfather? Who's my godfather? Minato smiled and said, You're not gonna believe this, but he is Jiraiya of the Sannin. Jiraiya of the Sannin? He asked. Minato nodded. I'll have to think on that. Naruto said. Minato looked up, as if being called back to heaven. He looked back to Naruto and said, We have to go, my son. Kami-sama doesn't want us spending too much time in your subconscious, and your girls are in trouble. Go help them, and keep your love alive. Naruto looked weirded out. You sound just like Mato guy, and he's weird. Naruto told Minato. Right. Before we go, remember to tell the third that the Big Four says hi from beyond. Naruto nodded, and they drifted off. He was then forced out of his dream, back into the real world, the physical world. Naruto woke up with a scroll in his hand. He placed it on the nightstand, and tried to clear his head. His dad was the fourth, and his dad had said that his girls were in trouble. He was trying to figure out what he meant by that, when he heard 2 female shrieks of terror, the voices of his Tenchi-chan and Hibihime. Don't worry, Tenchi-chan, Hibihime, I'm coming, he thought. He raced down the stairs, setting a record time for running. He came to the bottom of the stairs, his technique activated, ready to kill the bastard who went near his loves. He came to the opening of the staircase to find the other ninja passed out, and his Tenchi-chan and Hibihime, bound, gagged, and tied up, nearly naked, with only their underwear on. The shreds of their clothes were all over the floor. Tazuna and his daughter were cowering under the table. Naruto began to feel rage, like a bucket being filled with water. He began to twitch, and shudder, and slowly began changing into his Akuma Ningen form. The earth shuddered beneath his raw power. The sky turned pitch black, and magnificent bolts of light rained down from the sky above. The seas churned, swaying violently in tune with a powerful, yet silent song. What the hell? Goza shouted. When he was fully changed into his new form, he flew through the ceiling with a loud crash. That startled the demon brothers, and they looked around, trying to find the source of the noise. Suddenly, a blurred organism crashed through the ceiling, landing on the floor in a crater, seeping with power. 1. It had spiky red and orange hair, black horns, blood red, rock-hard skin, wings the color of its skin, and a massive broadsword in its right hand. The broadsword was black and red, with exquisite designs, and an ornate hilt. The blade was dark yellow, with a black glow around it. Its head was down, facing the floor. It had one hand on the ground, holding it steady. The monster slowly rose, showing its face to the aggressors. It had sharp fangs, and black, yellow, and red eyes. The eyes were shaped in an expression of rage. The monster stood taller than the two of them, with massive abs, and a powerful radiant aura of death. That monster was Naruto. How dare you try to hurt my friends? And you dare to get ready to rape the people who are the most precious to me? I will make sure that will never happen, because if it does, I will hunt you, and torture you, then kill you, and will convert to Jashinism. I will then sacrifice your worthless, trashy husks to Jashin, and make sure your corpses burn. But that won't happen, because I am going to make sure you die in the most fiery, painful, torturous pit in hell, you motherfucking heartless bastards, Naruto screamed in a demonic voice, full of anger. Karina and Anko looked up, and saw Naruto in his Akuma Ninja form, ready to kill the two men. Naruto Kyuen! They cried out, full of hope. Naruto turned his head towards them, and said, You are going to be alright, my Tenchi and my Haim. They cried, knowing that he was going to such lengths for them. All the other ninja awakened to see a demonic form standing in the middle of the room, towering above all. They remembered how Naruto had looked, and were frightened at what was going on. Naruto was standing in a crater in the floor. There was a long tunnel-like hole in the ceiling, showing the violent sky above. The ground was perpetually shuddering, never relenting. It was as if the whole world was quaking with fear at the sight of Naruto. Naruto roared with rage. For hurting my friends, and hurting my loved ones, you will never be forgiven. Prepare to die. He shouted. He then took his massive broadsword, and smashed it into the floor. Energy began streaming through the sword, and through Naruto's veins, casting an evil glow around him. The demon brothers could only watch in horror as the demonic monster's glow enveloped him. There was dark flash, and it cleared to reveal nothing. The demon brothers looked around, terrified of what would probably happen. Suddenly Naruto appeared in front of each of them, scowling angrily. He suddenly multiplied, surrounding them both with 4 Narutos. The 8 Narutos cutting off 5 of each of the demon brothers' appendages, their arms, legs. What was left of the demon brothers fell to the ground, howling in pain, blood spurting out of their severed limbs, and their torsos. Naruto jumped back and said, Kurishima. He held out his arm, and flames shot out, enveloping the demon brothers. Wails of pain and agony could be heard from the flames. They slowly died down. Unknown to everyone else, a mysterious hunter Nin was watching through the window. As the flames went away, all that was left was nothing. When the hunter Nin saw this, they gasped, and ran away. Naruto slowly reverted back to his regular self. When he regained his normal properties, he went over and untied Karina and Anko. Come, Tenchi-chan, Hibiheim, you are not looking too well. Let's make sure you're okay, he said. They got up, and he walked them upstairs, to change and get ready for bed. When they were all the way upstairs, Kakashi simply said, Well, that was eventful. Peace out. And with that, he fainted. Sasuke stated, I'm not carrying him up the stairs. Let's leave him here. Sakura agreed, and Kakashi sat right up. That was a test. He said, You fail. You will be doing D-rank missions for 2 weeks after we get back. Sasuke shouted, Ah crap. And Sakura said, It's not your fault, Sasuke-kun. And yet Itachi calls Naruto baka? By the way, all this time, Smokey was back where all the summons go, and was probably either eating Daigaku Imo, or sleeping. I'll decide. While Naruto and his girls went upstairs, everything that was broken was patched up. With Naruto, Karina, and Anko, Naruto, Karina, and Anko walked upstairs to the room Naruto had previously been in. Naruto had their bags on his shoulders. They walked into the room, and Naruto set their bags down. I'll let you two get changed, he said. He walked out the door and let the girls change. They opened the door, and showed Naruto what they were going to wear to bed. They were both wearing halter tops, soft skirts, and slippers. Wow, Naruto said. He blushed a little. The 2 girls giggled at his blush, and let him in. Naruto remembered something he had to do, and said, I'll be right back. I just need to do something really quickly. He walked over to his bag, and got out a white, egg-shaped object with 12 holes all over it. The object had purple, green, pink, and yellow patterns on it. Patterns that looked like the wind, swirling around on it. You could probably figure out that it was an ocarina just by looking, but an exquisite and ornate one at that. Anko cocked her head. Why do you have your ocarina, Naruto-kun? Anko asked. Well, you know how I became interested in seals? Naruto began. Yes, they both said. Well, I learned how to incorporate fuinjutsu with my ocarina. I play certain songs, and certain seals activate. I have a song for a security seal, an attack seal, a sealing seal, 2 jutsu seals, etc. One jutsu seal activates a certain jutsu when I play the Song of Time, copyright Nintendo, he told them. They were confused. The Song of Time? Karina asked. Naruto nodded. The Song of Time, he said. The other jutsu seal activates when I play the Song of Healing, also, copyright Nintendo. They were confused once more. The Song of Healing? Naruto again nodded. Yep. Both these songs, and some of the others I can play, are from a video game called Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I saw how certain songs had special effects, so I came up with some jutsu and such, incorporated them into seals, and used the songs from the game that inspired me to activate them. The Song of Healing's jutsu is it quickly heals wounds and such throughout the course of the song, resulting in any wounds being completely healed by the last note. And the Song of Time's jutsu is a manipulation jutsu. It manipulates time and space to warp anyone I wish directly to me or me to them. He told them. That's amazing. They said. Naruto remembered what he had to do and said, be right back. He zoomed out the door to the front of the house. At that time, two mysterious ninja were meeting in a secret location, Zabuza's hideout. Zabuza was laying on a bed, waiting for Haku to return. Ugh, this is so boring, he said. A few minutes passed, and a figure entered the room. It was the hunter Nin from before. Hello, Zabuza-sama. The hunter Nin said. Haku, what took you so long? And where are the brothers? Zabuza asked. I'm sorry. I stayed at the house a little bit longer, and saw something that might interest you. The one now known as Haku said. Zabuza trailed. I was watching the demon brothers as they beat the Konoha Nin. They beat them easily, in fact, with barely any effort. Haku told Zabuza of the first battle, which the brothers quickly won. He told Zabuza of how the brothers had beaten all the shinobi, and had Karina and Anko captured. Haku then got to the part where Naruto came in. When it looked like the brothers had won, the earth started shaking. I looked up at the sky, and saw that it was night black, with gigantic bolts of lightning bursting from it. I also saw the ocean churning, large waves rolling and crashing into the shore. I felt an immense power coming from inside the house. Haku said. Zabuza became very interested at that point. I looked back, and heard a crash. It startled me, and the brothers as well. When they were still looking around, something crashed through the ceiling. It was blood red, had wings, had red and orange hair that stood straight up, and had horns. In its right hand it carried a massive broadsword. It slowly rose, coming to be about a couple feet taller than the brothers. It showed its gruesome face. It had sharp fangs, and red, yellow, and black eyes. It looked to me as if the devil himself had come to earth. Zabuza's eyes widened. The creature appeared in front of the brothers, and multiplied. His 8 forms cut off the brothers' appendages, including their. Zabuza now made a face of disgust. The thing then went back to where it first stood, said something, and pointed its arm at the brothers. Flames shot out, and the brothers died. Then I came back here. Zabuza took Haku's story in, and then said, very interesting, Haku. Thank you for telling me. Get some sleep. We have a long day tomorrow. Haku nodded, and went to his room, with Naruto. When Naruto arrived at the front of the house, he opened the door, and went outside. He found some sturdy rope lying around, and got out his sword. Tazuna probably wouldn't mind if he used some. Naruto cut off a section of the rope. He quickly began whittling the section into a semi-thick, durable string. He then got out his ocarina, and attached the string to it. He zoomed back to the house and went inside. He locked the door, and got his ocarina ready. He began to play the Sonata of Awakening. The music was so beautiful, flowing softly, with a gentle melody. As he played the last note of the song, a seal flashed on his ocarina, and a glowing line went down his body, and trailed to the door. As it reached the door, multiple seals glowed all over the door and walls. They died down, and finally disappeared. Everyone had heard the music, and was rushing to see what had made it. Sasuke was the first to get in the room. Where's that beautiful music coming from? He asked calmly, for probably the first time in his life. Naruto smirked, and held up his ocarina. Sasuke's eyes widened. That was you? I can't believe you played such beautiful music, Naruto. It was so calming, he said. Naruto truly smiled at Sasuke for the first time. Thanks, Sasuke. That was really nice of you to say, Naruto replied. Sasuke truly smiled back. It was as if all that time that Sasuke was ignorant and mean, something had been missing from his life. He could now see that it was just something to appreciate, seeing as how Sasuke had no one and nothing after Itachi murdered his clan. Now he had something to appreciate, and maybe he could learn how to do that, and bring the joy he had found to others. Everyone else arrived in the room to see Naruto with an ocarina that was white, with green, pink, purple, and yellow patterns on it. The patterns seemed to be like the wind, flowing all around on the ocarina. They also saw Sasuke there, smiling. Kakashi decided to make a joke. So, why is Emo Boy happy? Are you too gay? Naruto stopped smiling, and had a horrified look. He then clutched his stomach, and vomited on the floor. Everyone stepped back a little. Well, I'm gonna have to clean that up, Tsunami said. Sasuke heard Kakashi, and saw what happened, and frowned. Nice going, Cyclops. You ruined the moment. Kakashi just gave him a nice smile, and leaned against the wall. Naruto stood up slowly, and steadied himself. Tsunami moved to start cleaning up Naruto's puke. Naruto stopped her, and said, I'll take care of it. He put his index and middle fingers in a familiar hand sign, and there were 2 puffs of smoke. His Kage Bunshins appeared, and he told them, clean this up for Tsunami. It's the least we could do since she gave us food. They saluted him and began cleaning it up. Within 3 minutes, the floor was spotless. Naruto then scowled a little at Kakashi. Are you gay? I'm pretty sure you'd have to be to make a joke like that, Naruto said. Kakashi shrugged. Karina spoke up. Was this what you had to do, Naruto-kun? She asked. Naruto nodded. This was what I had to do. I wasn't just playing a song though. I was putting up a security seal on the house. That way, no one could get in, he said to the other ninja, and their client and his daughter. Everybody raised an eyebrow, except for Karina and Anko. How can you do that, Naruto? Sasuke asked. Naruto smirked. Well, it actually started when I was in the academy. I became interested in Fuinjutsu, and he told them the story of how he learned Fuinjutsu from some borrowed scrolls, how he learned how to incorporate it into his ocarina songs, how he got inspired by Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and how he learned the songs. They all went wide-eyed at the parts where he told of his Fuinjutsu skills, and being able to play an ocarina. When finished, Sasuke said, That's amazing, dude. That was the first time anyone had ever heard Sasuke say dude. Naruto smiled. I know. He said, Would you like me to play another song? Naruto asked. Everyone cheered up, them all saying things like, Yeah, that'd be awesome. And, that music was so beautiful. Naruto nodded and pulled up his ocarina. He began to play the Song of Healing 3 times. As he played the notes, the injuries everyone had sustained quickly began to heal, causing many of them to gasp in surprise. This song, like the one before, was sweet and melodious. It echoed throughout the entire room, calming everyone's nerves. When he finished, everyone looked at their injuries. They removed bandages, gauze, and such, to find that there was nothing there, not even a faint scar, while they collectively said, It's amazing what music can do. Naruto said, I have one last song to play. Naruto told them, It's called Zelda's Lullaby. He told them. They all nodded okay to him, and he began. He put the ocarina up to his lips, and began to play. The song flowed smoothly, like time had slowed down, and they all were floating in a gentle river. They all sighed in happiness, even Kakashi, as the notes floated through the air. They were all drifting in the breeze as it flowed through the room, carrying them all into a realm of peace, as if there was nothing wrong in the world. When the last note diminished, Karina spoke softly. I feel so peaceful. What was the effect of that song, Naruto-kun? She asked wistfully. Naruto smiled. That song incorporates emotions and brain activity into the seal. It's designed to make sure anyone who hears it has no trouble during the night, getting a good rest, and having, no pun intended, sweet dreams. He answered. I feel like I'm floating on a cloud, the wind flowing softly through my hair, feeling the sun's warmth caress my skin. Anko said. The others nodded consecutively. You might want to get upstairs. The song will make anyone who has heard it who's not in a bed fall asleep after 3 minutes. Naruto said. Everyone nodded, and went to their respective rooms. Naruto got in with Karina, and Anko snuggled up next to him. Good night, my Tenchi, my Haim. He said. Good night, Naruto-kun. They said. They fell asleep within 30 seconds, and slumbered into dreamland. The next morning, everyone arose the next morning, feeling possibly the best they ever had. They ate a breakfast, provided by Tsunami, which consisted of pancakes, bacon, sausage, orange juice, and toast. Everyone thanked Tsunami for the meal, and dug in. When they had finished eating, they talked about what they were going to do. Today, we are going to watch over Tazuna while he continues building his bridge. We will split up into pairs of 2s, and will each take a post, forming a wide barrier around Tazuna. You will watch carefully for any presence of an enemy. If you notice any potential dangers, make sure everybody knows and is ready. Kakashi told them. Everyone nodded. Naruto took a sip of orange juice and said, We should have pairs based on our abilities. Kakashi nodded and said, I agree. Therefore, Sasuke and Naruto is one pair. Naruto and Sasuke smiled at each other. Shino and Hinata are another pair. Shino and Hinata both nodded at each other. Sakura and Kiba are another. Sakura and Kiba both also nodded at each other. I will be on my own, and Karina and Anko will be the last pair. Karina and Anko smiled. You will all take a position around the bridge, staying aware at all times. Kakashi finished. All the genin nodded in acknowledgement, and Naruto said. Also, to make sure no one gets in the house, he held his ocarina up to his lips, and played Sonata of Awakening. The notes once more flowed beautifully, drifting through the air. The seal on his ocarina flashed again, and the glowing line traveled down his body, off the chair, across the floor, and to the walls. The seals on the walls flashed, then disappeared. Kakashi gave Naruto a thumbs up. But how do we get out or back in? Sasuke asked. Naruto smiled. I attuned the seal to recognize the chakras of my friends and senseis, so only the people I allow can enter. Naruto explained. Oh, Sasuke said. Naruto nodded. Now let's get to guarding Tazuna. Naruto said. Everyone nodded, and went to their posts to keep watch. The blazing dragon. Everyone got to their posts. They all were watching carefully. After 20 minutes, Naruto heard a whistling sound. Hit the dirt! He screamed. Everybody ducked to the ground as a giant sword lodged itself in a tree. They looked at it, and saw an eyebrowless man standing on it. So, you guys beat the demon brothers, huh? Not gonna be easy, but it'll do, the man said. Kakashi spoke up. Zabuza Momochi, demon of the mist, listed A rank in the bingo book, approach with extreme caution. Kakashi said. Zabuza chuckled. Kakashi of the Sharingan, listed S rank in the bingo book as flee on sight. I've been expecting you. Haku stepped out of the shadows. Kakashi lifted up his protector to reveal a closed, scarred eye. He opened it to reveal a Sharingan. So, I get to see the Sharingan early, huh? I'm touched. You really do care. Zabuza said. You'll be the only one to see it early. Kakashi said. He charged at Zabuza at lightning speed. He began slashing with a kunai. Haku charged at Sasuke, Karina, and Anko. Haku had surprising speed. They all clashed violently. Naruto sped up to help Kakashi. He ordered Sakura, Hinata, Shino, and Kiba to guard Tazuna. When Naruto reached Kakashi, he activated his technique. The deadly dance broke apart, and Zabuza was smirked, though you couldn't tell. Well. Now I know who you are. Naruto Uzumaki, the god of Konoha, listed S rank in the bingo book. Do not engage unless you have a death wish. You're still a genin, and I can take you on. Zabuza said. He made some water clones, and they attacked Naruto. He zipped around them, slashing through each quickly. They all turned into puddles, which made Haku stop fighting Sasuke. Thank you for providing me with the water I needed, Haku said. He did some hand signs, and the water merged to form a dome of ice around him and Sasuke. Huh! What's going on? Sasuke cried out. Karina and Anko became worried, and began attacking the dome. It did not yield to them, not even moving an inch. Karina was launching kunai at the dome, while Anko launched snakes. Haku sped towards Sasuke once more. The two began clashing with kunai, creating a deadly dance of might and speed. Zabuza was still fighting Kakashi, with Naruto trying to charge in at certain intervals. When that would happen, Zabuza would break off, and create more water clones. Naruto had to keep on destroying the clones before he could try to fight Zabuza. He wouldn't give up trying to break through Zabuza's defenses. But Zabuza was an A-rank missing nin, and Naruto was a new genin. Finally, Naruto broke through Zabuza's defenses, and began slashing with Moru-ryu. Zabuza had to dodge and slash as fast as he could, but it was not enough to keep from getting hurt by the two powerful shinobi. They slashed at him, making cuts in his clothing and skin. He leaped away, landing some 10 yards away in the water. He motioned for Kakashi to bring it. Kakashi stood in front of Naruto and said, "Stay back. I will take care of him while you take care of his sidekick." Naruto nodded and sped off. Kakashi leaped onto the water. "It's just you and me, freak," Kakashi said. Zabuza nodded. "Same here, Cyclops," he replied. Kakashi immediately charged at Zabuza. Zabuza did some hand signs and held his hand out. Right as Kakashi reached Zabuza, he was surrounded by a prison of water. "What the?" he cried out. With Naruto. Naruto had reached the dome, and began attacking it. "Kasai Dorigandaraira!" he cried out. He began to break into a run. The attack followed through, and cracked the dome. Before it could break, Haku strengthened it with more water from the channel. Naruto groaned, and shouted, "Don't these guys ever get tired?" He kept attacking the dome with Moru-ryu, hacking and slashing, but barely making a dent. Karina giggled a little, and said, "I think they're robots," while still throwing kunai at the dome of ice. Anko also giggled at the joke. Suddenly, Naruto heard Kakashi's voice shouting, "What the? I'll be back," he told his girlfriends. He quickly zoomed over to where Kakashi was on the water. Kakashi's POV. He was trapped in a prison of water. "What did you do?" Kakashi asked. Zabuza smirked. "I'm not even sure if that's possible, but I'm going with it. I simply trapped you in a water prison," Zabuza said. Kakashi looked a little bit surprised. Zabuza smirked again. Suddenly, a loud whosh was heard, and Kakashi looked upward and to the left. Naruto was hovering above the water, smirking, the wind whipping through his hair. "You rang?" he asked while still smirking. Kakashi smiled. "I don't have a bell, but yeah," he replied. Naruto grinned. "Good choice," Naruto said. He flew towards Zabuza in a fighting pose, ready to strike. He swung his sword to strike with a powerful blow. Zabuza quickly raised his sword to block Naruto's attack. The two swords clanged together hard, sending sparks flying over the water. Naruto pressed against Zabuza, forcing him backwards slowly. The force of strength coming from Naruto was so pressing that it forced Zabuza to take his blade away and jump back, leaving an opening for Naruto to attack. He leaped forward, aiming his sword at the arm holding the water prison together. He sliced before Zabuza could react, cutting off his arm. Zabuza screamed in pain, blood spurting out of his severed limb and shoulder. The prison broke, setting Kakashi free atop the water. "I'm gonna get you for that," he said threateningly yet calmly. Naruto smirked. "Oh really?" he asked. Zabuza smirked. "Actually, it looks like my partner is about to get you instead." Say goodbye to some of your friends. Zabuza said. Huh! Naruto cried out. He looked to see Haku doing one-handed signs, Sasuke, Karina, and Anko's POV. Sasuke was still trapped inside the dome, continuing the deadly dance of battle with Haku. Suddenly, Haku broke off, and began doing one-handed signs. One-handed signs? Ah crap! Sasuke thought. Suddenly, an opening appeared in the back of the dome, where Karina and Anko were. Pieces of the dome broke off, and formed needles of ice. Haku pushed his hands out, and the needles shot forward. They stuck themselves in sections of Karina, Anko, and Sasuke's bodies. They all cried out in pain. All three crumpled to the ground. A loud, and oh, was heard throughout the battlefield. With Naruto, he watched as his friend and loves fell to the ground, needles sticking out of them, and blood soaking their bodies. Nuh! Naruto cried out. Rage filled his entire being. He slowly began to transform into his new form. I gotta get them to safety before I change, Naruto thought. He got out his ocarina, and played the Song of Time. The notes flowed throughout the battlefield, drifting over to his loves and friend on the wind. They carried them up into the air, and they vanished, only to reappear next to Naruto on the ground. His transformation grew faster, only to become stranger. His normal transformation happened, with the earth shaking, the sky turning black as night, the seas churning, and lightning raining down, only this time, something different occurred. When his transformation was complete, he was surrounded by an orange glow, the Kyuubi's chakra enveloping him. He grew 3 energy tails, made of the chakra, and 2 fox ears, also made from the chakra surrounding him. He roared ferociously, the ground beneath him weakening. His new form was truly demonic, having the same features of his Akuma Ningen form, but with the foxtails and ears, his personality taking a whole new form. He became mostly feral, his anger slowly overcoming him. If he didn't get brought back to normal soon, he'd go insane, and snap like a twig. His roar was a mix of anger, power, and the beast literally within him. It frightened Haku, making him cower before Naruto's demonic might. Naruto disappeared and reappeared in front of Haku before you could know what was happening. He began to slash at the boy, spilling blood and fear. Power emanated from the demon, literally scaring the crap out of his teammates, Haku, and Zabuza. Why would you kill them? He roared. Why would take away a friend, and the only love I had in this world? Naruto screamed at the boy. Tu never meant to th them. Haku said fearfully. You never meant to kill them, but you did. You had to kill the only love I ever received. Naruto shouted. He kept slashing at the boy, breaking apart his mask. It cleared to reveal the bloody face of a scared boy. I did it to protect my precious person. I did it to protect Zabuza-sama. Haku replied. Naruto stopped. Your precious person? He asked. Haku nodded. A flash of pain went through Naruto's body. Ag! Naruto cried out. He held his head in agony. Slowly, but surely, the fox's chakra went away, leaving him back in his Akuma Ningen form. Yug! Naruto moaned. At that moment, he glared at Zabuza, and began flying toward him. You killed them! You will die for that! He screamed. Right before his sword could pierce Zabuza's chest, Haku was in the way, taking the blow for Zabuza. Aya! Haku cried out. He fell to the ground, a massive hole in his chest. To have finally fulfilled my purpose, be Zabuza-sama's tool, I have protected my precious person and completed my destiny. Thank you, Haku said. All signs of life faded from the boy's body. He laid there smiling. Haku Zabuza trailed. Suddenly, an arrow pierced Zabuza's neck. Uff! He cried out. He fell to the ground, blood spilling from his neck. Finally! A voice yelled. Now I don't have to pay him. A short man walked out from the mist. Gado. Kakashi said. Naruto was full of anger. This was the man who had caused all of this pain, this agony, this sense of hopelessness. Naruto leaped in front of Gado. As he rose from the ground, Gado cowered in fear. Oh shit! He said. Naruto growled. You're the one behind all this. You are the reason the only love I had has died. Prepare to burn, you bastard! Naruto yelled at Gado. He put his hand out and said, Kurishima! Flames shot out, and quickly engulfed Gado, drowning out the man's wails with their crackling. When the flames went away, all you could see was a charred pile of ash. You killed our meal ticket! How are we supposed to get food? Voices cried out from the mist. It cleared to reveal about 350 or so thugs whom Gado had hired. Naruto was still hellbent on killing them. You are all going to die for causing this land so much pain and agony. Naruto cried out. He disappeared and reappeared among the crowd, smiting bandits with unholy wrath. Karina, Anko, and Sasuke POV. They all woke up with groans to find themselves lying on the grass, blood all over them. Huh! What's going on? Karina asked. She was the first to wake up. With her voice, Anko and Sasuke woke up as well. Sakura was over there already, and answered their questions easily. You were hit by one of that masked kid's attacks, and Naruto thought you died. He went nearly insane. Although, something weird happened. He did that transformation thingy like at the house only, he had an orange glow surround him. It made 3 tails, and 2 animal ears. He played one of those songs on his ocarina, and you were transported here. He went almost feral at the sight of you guys. He tried to kill that masked kid, but the kid said something that made him stop. He clutched his head, and went back to that form we saw at the house. He tried to attack that Zabuza guy, but the kid hopped in the way. He laid on the ground, and they just stared. Suddenly, Zabuza was killed with an arrow. Naruto killed the boss guy, Gato, and is now on a killing spree. I did a little bit of medical ninjutsu on you, and you're fine. Sakura told them. Their eyes widened when they heard he was on a killing spree. Naruto-kun, we're okay. Karina shouted. Naruto. He was hacking and slashing through the crowd of bandits. The thugs could not react, because Naruto would appear and disappear before they could react. As he was striking them down, he thought of his loved ones, and Sasuke. They would never get a chance to live again. When he thought of them, the fox's chakra came back, surrounding him, taking over his entire being. He roared as he killed more of them. As a final attack, he got in the middle of what was left, spread out his hands, and began spinning. Kurishima! He shouted. Flames shot out of his hand continuously as he spun around, scorching all the bandits. They shrieked in agony as fire engulfed their sight, their hearing, and their life force. There was only 2 people who remained alive out of the bandits, the swordsmen Zora and Waraji. He sped over to them, and began shouting. They can't live anymore because of you. They don't have a chance at life. Well, either will you. He screamed at the 2. They held themselves together, ready to die painfully. He shot out one last burst of flames at the 2, and they melted into a puddle of goop and ash. Naruto roared as loud as he could, looking around for more people to kill. Naruto-kun, we're okay. He heard a voice cry out. No. It couldn't be. They died. He turned to see Sasuke, Karina, Anko, and Sakura all together. He stared in shock as his loves and one of his best friends were sitting up, breathing, living. He began to cry hard. The Kyuubi's chakra slowly disappeared from around Naruto. Naruto flew over to his friends, checking to make sure they were okay. You're okay? He asked. Karina smiled. We're okay. She replied. He hugged his loves tightly. Slowly, he turned back to normal. When he was himself again, he just sobbed while holding his loved ones. He let go after a few seconds, and went over to Sasuke. You okay? He asked. Sasuke nodded. A little bruised and bloody, but okay. He replied. The 2 fists bumped happily. Suddenly, Naruto began convulsing. He crumpled to the ground, shaking uncontrollably. Naruto-kun! Karina and Anko shouted. They picked him up. He was still shaking wildly. They all quickly ran him back to Tazuna's house. Karina and Anko laid him in the same guest bed as before. He was nearly completely still, just laying there, only breathing. Karina got out a medical emergency scroll from a bag. She quickly wrote down the situation. The scroll read, Medical emergency. Our mission quickly escalated to an A-rank mission. That was not a problem, however. Genin Naruto Uzumaki quickly wiped out enemy force. Enemies, Zabuza Momochi, Haku, don't know last name, Gato of Gato Company, 350 mercenaries. After wiping out enemy force in fit of rage, Naruto Uzumaki fell into a coma-like state. Cause for fit of rage, believed that Anko Mitarashi, Sasuke Uchiha, and I were killed. The Kyuubi no Kitsune's chakra took him over, sending him into a 3-tailed state which merged with a transformation he had trained to happen, resulting in a truly demonic form. The toll was too great on his body, and he fell into the coma-like state previously mentioned. Requesting immediate medical attention. Thank you, Karina Yehi, Jounin of Konoha. Karina summoned a messenger hawk, and sent it to Konoha. She and Anko sat with Naruto, and waited for hours, before some medical Jounin came. We read your message. One of them said. Another checked on Naruto. It seems something's wrong with his brain, mainly his mind. He's in a pretty bad coma, and I don't know if he'll ever wake up. They said. The 2 girls just cried. As if in response to their crying, Naruto shuddered. They didn't know it, but he was having a pretty bad dream at the moment. Naruto's dream. Naruto was standing in a frozen field. Hello? He called out. No one was there. He walked around, swiveling his head to see every inch. Hello? He called out again. Suddenly blocks of ice fell from the sky, crashing around Naruto. He screamed in terror. When the crashing stopped, he looked at the blocks closely. What he saw horrified him. It was his friends and loved ones, trapped in ice, with looks of fear on their faces. He tried to attack the blocks, to free his friends, but his techniques wouldn't work. He finally stopped after a few minutes of trying. And oh! He cried out. He fell to his knees, sobbing, full of emotional pain. Suddenly, ice began forming around Naruto. Huh! He cried out. The ice quickly encased every inch of him. Suddenly, everything but him began to melt. He watched as his loved ones and friends turned to liquid in silent agony. He couldn't move. He couldn't scream. He couldn't help. Outside of Naruto's nightmare, it was nighttime. Karina and Anko just sat there, waiting for Naruto to wake up. Suddenly, he went into a fit. They tried to keep him down, but they couldn't. His fit was so strong, it threw them backwards onto the floor. They could do nothing to help him. They just watched in horror as the one they loved kept squirming, as if trying to break free from something. Naruto's nightmare. Even the ground was melting. Naruto was frozen on the last bit of land. The melting stopped. He was stuck on a floating piece of frozen land. Darkness was all around him. Suddenly, his friends and loved ones appeared once more, floating in the darkness around him. Out of nowhere, flames erupted around them, and Naruto's three-tailed Akuma Ninja form towered above them. You will kill them. They will die because you do not take care. It said. One by one, it took out his friends and loved ones with a fiery hand, swiping through them. They all screamed as they were wiped from existence. When they were all gone, his demonic form raised its sword above it, and swung down into the side, cutting Naruto in half. He screamed in pain, and fell down. The block of ice around him had disappeared, and he fell on unfrozen grass, torn in near half, connected by only a single string of a muscle. Blood poured out of him, soaking the grass and coloring it red. Ghostly forms of his friends and loves floated around him, chanting, "You couldn't save us, you couldn't save us, you have to die." He screamed in fear as the demon raised its sword, ready to kill. It quickly lowered its sword in a slashing fashion. Right as the sword came up to Naruto's head, the nightmare flashed away. He sat up sharply, tears in his eyes, screaming, "No!" It was a week after the coma had started. He was in the guest bed at Tazuna's house. Karina and Anko rushed in at the speed of light. Naruto had tears in his eyes. Naruto-kun and Karina trailed off. They both ran and hugged Naruto at full speed, tears of joy streaming down their faces. Naruto just stared into space. "Naruto-kun?" Anko asked hopefully. Naruto grew a horrified look, and began wailing in fear of an unseen terror. He kept screaming. Karina and Anko tried to hold him down. "Naruto-kun, calm down." Karina told him, "It's alright." Anko said. Naruto just kept flailing about, screaming his head off. "Medic!" Karina shouted. Everyone rushed into the room, shocked at what was happening. "Stand back." The medic ordered. Everyone did as he said. He took out a syringe, stuck it in Naruto's arm, and ejected the fluid into a vein. Naruto writhed in pain, trying to escape. His flails and wails slowly died down, until Naruto was unconscious. What happened?" Anko asked. The medic did some hand signs, and placed his hand on Naruto's forehead. Naruto's forehead glowed, and as the medic took his hand away, the glow faded. It seems that there was something happening in his subconscious that shocked or scared him so much, his brain couldn't handle it, and it caused temporary insanity, the medic said. Tears welled up in everyone, even Kakashi's eyes. "If we can figure out what was plaguing him, he may have a chance. We just need to get back to Konoha, and one of the experts of the Yamanaka will be able to help. I've tranquilized him so that he'll stay out for 7 hours. If we can get to Konoha quickly, this plan just might work," the medic told them. Karina and Anko's eyes lit ablaze with determination and hope. "Then we have to get him there," they shouted in unison. The medic nodded and asked, "Does anyone have any summons?" Anko raised her hand. "I do. But they're snakes. Everyone will think Orochimaru's back. Naruto-kun does as well," she said. The medic nodded again and asked, "What summon are they?" Anko scooted her eyes around from side to side. "Dragons?" she said quietly. The medic stared in disbelief. "Dragons?" he shouted. "Shhhhhhh. Karina said. "We don't want the whole world to know." The medic shut up and said, "Well, we'll have to go with the snakes. Just pray they don't attract friends of Orochimaru." They all nodded, and everyone went outside. Karina carried Naruto on her back outside. Anko did the hand signs for the summoning jutsu, and slammed her palm into the ground. 3 large puffs of smoke appeared. When the smoke went away, 3 large snakes were standing there. One was purple with yellow markings, another was black with purple markings, and the last was brown with green markings. Everyone got into groups. Karina, Anko, Shino and Hinata were one group, Kakashi and his team were another, and the medics that had come to help were the last group. They all hopped on a snake, and they rode off for Konoha. Naruto's mindscape while they were traveling, he was falling. Just falling aimlessly through a pit of darkness. He could see a light up above. A hole, with light shining through it. He was still falling, not knowing what was going on. Suddenly he hit hard ground. His eyes were closed. He opened them to find out that he was in his mindscape. But it wasn't his mindscape anymore. It was a ravaged wasteland, with burnt down trees, dry crispy grass, a dried up lake with dead fish at the bottom. Kyubi and Takashi were nowhere in sight. "What the?" he shouted. He looked around. There were no signs of life anywhere. "Kyubi? Takashi? Where are you guys?" he called out. He heard a faint noise, like someone far away, crying for help. "I'm coming!" he yelled. He ran at full speed towards the noise. After running what was maybe 20 miles in his mindscape, he found Takashi and Kyubi, chained to a broken tree. "Naruto! Thank Kami you're here," Takashi said. Naruto chopped through the chains that tied them up, and they fell to the ground. What happened? Naruto asked. The moment your nightmare was over, something popped up here. It was horrible. It appeared to be your Akuma Ningen form, but had flames for eyes, solid yet liquid water arms, legs made of earth, claws made of lightning, and could use dark magic. It looked insane. It found us somehow, and began attacking. It knocked us against this tree, and tied us up. Then it began destroying everything. It burned up the lake, and killed all the life in here. We could only watch, we couldn't do anything, Kyubi said. Suddenly, the ground began shuddering. Loud thumps could be heard heading towards them. Naruto activated his technique, and got right beside Kyubi and Takashi. Kyubi summoned battle foxes, while Takashi activated some kind of technique like Naruto's. A ring of black appeared around him, and separated into 2 rings. The 2 rings moved in opposite directions, up and down. Takashi's form slowly changed. He now had black hair, a red and white suit, and clawed hands. If we fight together, we can take him, Takashi said. The other 2 nodded. The beast finally came into view. Naruto was the first to step forward. Bring it, he said. The other 2 behind him tried to charge, but were blocked by an invisible barrier. What the heck? Takashi cried out. Suddenly, the creature launched out 2 vines, aimed at Takashi and Kyubi. Naruto tried to cut the vines, but the vines simply moved out of the way. The vines reached Takashi and Kyubi, and wrapped around them. The beast tossed them aside. Suddenly, the creature transformed, shrinking down into the form of a human. When it finished shrinking, it looked like Naruto, but with red glowing eyes, black clothes, and black skin. It just said nothing, but the silence spoke 1,000 words. It was there to consume Naruto. To consume all sanity, and replace it with madness. To mold Naruto into a destructive being, capable only of hatred, anger, and insanity. The creature stomped, creating cracks in the ground that formed the outline of a rectangle. The rectangular piece of land rose up in the air. The ground also shook, knocking Takashi and Kyubi backwards into a boulder, rendering them unconscious. They couldn't help. The fight had begun. Konoha gates. 5 hours later, they arrived at the gates of Konoha at 7 p.m. The large snakes rattled the ground, and Kotetsu and Izumo got ready for attack. They saw 3 large snakes with people on top. All the people hopped off, and landed safely on the ground. The 3 snakes went away, and Kotetsu and Izumo saw that one of the people had a familiar person on their back. All the people ran up to them. We need to get through, one of them said. Kotetsu stood firm and said, ID please. Then he saw their Hitayatesh. He looked at the familiar person, and recognized him. What's wrong with Naruto? He asked. Well, let's just say Naruto's having a really bad time, Sasuke told him. Kotetsu nodded, and the 2 guards opened the gate. Everyone rushed in at the speed of light. They found the house of Inoichi Yamanaka, and knocked on the door. It opened, and Inoichi Yamanaka was standing there, confused. What's up? He asked. We need your help. Naruto fell into some kind of a coma, and now he's temporarily insane. He had some kind of nightmare during his coma. Can you go inside Naruto's mind and see what scared him? Kakashi asked. Inoichi thought. Yeah, I can do that. Just bring him in, he said. They carried Naruto inside, and laid him on the guest bed. Ino walked in the room. What's up, duh? She couldn't finish because she saw Naruto laying on the guest bed. What's wrong? She asked. Karina turned to her. Naruto fell into a coma, and had a really bad nightmare. It shook him so much that he's temporarily insane, she said. Ino's eyes widened. Oh my gosh, she trailed. Your father is about to help us figure out what Naruto saw, Sasuke said. Ino nodded, and focused on what was happening. Inoichi did some hand signs, and placed his hand on Naruto's forehead. He streamed himself into Naruto's mind. He looked at Naruto's memory closely. Oh my god, he said. He warped himself out of Naruto's mind. What did you see? Karina asked. Inoichi had a grim expression. I'll tell you this, it wasn't pretty at all, he said. Anko grew very determined. I have to see it, she said. Inoichi nodded. I'll show you, but be warned. It will most likely horrify you, he told them. Everyone began to speak up. I need to see it as well, Shino said. One by one, everyone decided to see it so they could help their friend. Everyone, hold hands, Inoichi ordered. They all clasped hands, and Inoichi transported them inside Naruto's mind. They all watched Naruto's memory closely. They watched the battle with Zabuza and Haku, his transformation, him going wild, all the way to his nightmare. Now I warn you again. This will be horrifying, Inoichi said. Everyone nodded, and Inoichi showed them Naruto's nightmare. Now I'm not going to describe the nightmare again, because you already read it, and it's hard to describe a scene or two like that a second time. When it was all over, nearly everyone had a look of horror on their face. That's terrifying. Naruto-kun must have felt so horrible when he thought we died. He must have thought he didn't protect us. Karina said. We need to figure out a way to help him, Anko said. Inoichi thought. Maybe if we can get a message into his subconscious, it will help, he suggested. Suddenly, the invisible ground shook wildly. Inoichi quickly did some hand signs, and placed a hand forward. His eyes glowed white, and he learned what was going on. We have to get out of here, he said. Why? Anko asked. It appears that in his mind, Naruto is battling a creature that looks just like him, but it's completely black except for the eyes. Its eyes are red. The amount of power from the fight is so large that if we stay, this section of his mind will collapse, and we'll all die. Inoichi told them. They all quickly agreed, and he transported them out. So, what is that creature? Karina asked. From what I can guess, it's all the pain, agony, and suffering in Naruto's mind, combined with the temporary insanity. If Naruto loses the battle, he'll go insane. Inoichi said. There was a deadly silence in the room. Well, can't we do anything to help? Anko asked. Inoichi shook his head. No, we can't interfere. This is Naruto's fight, he said. Anko looked down in sadness. Naruto's body began to sweat profusely. Everyone noticed this happening. Looks to be a tough fight. Inoichi said. Can you show us what's going on? Karina asked. Inoichi nodded. He did more hand signs, and placed his hand on Naruto's head. The image beamed out of Naruto's mind, and spread into the mind of everyone else in the room. Oh my gosh, Ino said. They watched the fight as it went on. Naruto's mindscape. The fight was not easy. Every move that Naruto tried, the creature would copy, ending up in every attack being blocked. After countless strikes being blocked, Naruto decided that there was no way he could beat the creature like this. He decided to flee for now, rest up, and fight again. He hovered in the air, waiting for the creature to strike. It didn't, and he ran. Physical world. What is Naruto-kun doing? Anko asked. It looks like he's fleeing. Inoichi said. I don't think Naruto would flee a battle. He must have a plan. Sasuke said. Everyone took that into consideration as they watched Naruto fly away from the raised slab of land. Naruto's mindscape. He was flying away from the fight. The monster didn't follow him, so it must have had a plan. He couldn't focus on that now. He had to find somewhere safe to rest, but all he saw as he flew around was burnt trees, dead wildlife, and scorched grass. He kept flying. Suddenly, he felt very hot. He began to sweat really hard. His flying was decreasing. He was getting weaker and weaker. He was getting hotter and hotter. He came upon a cave, with his last bit of strength, and pushed himself into the cave, and fainted. Physical world. They all watched as Naruto kept flying slower, and slower towards the cave. He barely managed to push himself inside, and then they saw nothing. What happened? Karina asked. Inoichi tried to re-establish a connection with Naruto's senses. But he couldn't. I think Naruto blacked out, he said. Karina and Anko started crying. But I can tell he hasn't lost, Inoichi added. The two stopped crying. How? Anko asked whilst trying to clear her eyes of her tears. I can feel this energy inside of him. It feels ancient and mysterious as long as he has some energy inside him. I know he hasn't given up. Is there any way we can help him? Anko asked. He thought for a moment. There may be a way to help him. If we can speak to him, he may be able to have the fighting spirit. Karina and Anko nodded. Then let's do it. Anko replied. Place your hand on my shoulder. Inoichi ordered. Anko did as he said. Inoichi did about 20 hand signs, and spread his hands out. A light flashed, and Inoichi said, Say whatever you want. Anko nodded. Naruto-kun, it's me. You've got to fight it. Fight for us. For your friends. And for Karina and me, Naruto. He desperately tried to wake up, to get out of this nightmare. But he couldn't. Suddenly, he heard a voice. Naruto-kun, it's me. You've got to fight it. Fight for us. For your friends. And for Karina and me. It said. It was his Hebihime. I've got to fight it for them, he thought. He fought the urge to give in. He strongly willed his eyes to open. And when they did, he saw light. He squinted hard. The light was burning into his eyes. When his eyes focused on his surroundings, he saw that he was in the cave he had passed out in, and the light was shining from farther in. He got up slowly, and walked towards the light. When he got close to it, he saw an old man sitting on a flat rock meditating. Who are you? Naruto asked. The man just kept meditating. I said, who are you? Naruto repeated angrily. The man stopped meditating. He got off the rock, stood up, and opened his eyes. Naruto got ready to attack. I have had many names over 1,000 years, but you may call me Yoso to no Tsu, one, he said with an Indian accent. Naruto was confused. 1,000 years? But you only look to be about 70 years old, he said. The man nodded. That I do. But I have taken many forms, many new faces. I have looked like a young woman, a wise old sage, and even an animal. The man told him. The man started to change his shape, from an old man, to a majestic tiger, to a bear cub, and so on. He finally stopped changing in the form of a lion which looked old, probably with years of experience and wisdom, but had a hint of hidden pain. Why did you stop there? Naruto asked. My form takes on the shape of something with the characteristics, at the moment, of who I am in. I mold my shape into a representation of their personality, their main emotions, and their feelings. I am a lion, and I look old and wise, yet I am hurt inside. These are the characteristics you have right now. You are quite proud of your life, thus the lion form. You are wise and mature, able to make strong decisions that have almost no consequences, hence the old appearance, and yet you are hurt, because you couldn't protect your loved ones in your earlier battle in the physical world, and you may not even be able to protect yourself. Wow, that's spot on. Naruto replied. The lion nodded. Why are you here and what are you exactly? Naruto asked. Why I am here is part of what I am. He said. Look. The lion grew a dead serious expression. I am an ancient spirit, one of the 6 guardians of the Uzumaki. Every 20 years, 6 special children are born into the Uzumaki clan. Each guardian spirit watches over a certain child from the child's own mind. But we do not interfere. Those children are born with one of 6 elemental powers: earth, fire, energy, water, light, and darkness. As the lion was speaking of the elements, flashes of them appeared in Naruto's thoughts in order. Spikes of earth rose up and flew in directions. Powerful flames burned bright. Lightning zapped all around. Water churned, and waves crashed. Flashes of light burst out of thin air, and bolts of dark magic zipped from an unseen force. Those powers help them shape their entire lives, and their personalities reflect their element. When they embark on the treacherous journey to discover their powers, even though they don't know that they begin to take the signs of their element's toll on their body. It eventually overcomes them, and they can't fight it, for it would have been piling up inside them their entire lives. Naruto kept nodding through the whole thing. So I'm one of the 6 children? Naruto asked. The lion nodded. Yes, you are. As being so, you would have one of the elemental powers. Which would you suppose you have? I already know, since I am your guardian, but you must discover it yourself. He said. Naruto thought. Maybe fire? I started sweating heavily right before coming here. Naruto said. That is a wise decision. You used what you knew to think. But that is not the one you have. I will tell you why. The lion replied. The creature that is roaming your mind, how would you describe what it looks like? The lion asked. Well, it had flames for eyes, solid water arms, earthen legs, and claws of lightning. But then it morphed to look like me. Kind of like a shadowy version. Everything but its eyes was black. Its eyes were red. Naruto told him. The lion just looked at him, seeming to be smiling. Suddenly something clicked in Naruto's mind. Those were the elements of the other children, weren't they? Naruto asked. Yes, they were. That creature was once one of the children, from 60 years ago. However, instead of protecting things, he fell into a path of darkness and horror. He has been traveling into the minds of the other children for the last 60 years, driving them into insanity, and then stealing their power, and the power of their guardians. Ever since him, there hasn't been a child with the power of darkness. He gave into dark, corrupted power, and became nearly immortal. He can only be killed by one thing, the power of the light. There is a prophecy, which says, a child of power shall fall into darkness, and corrupt all but one. The one who survives is powerful. They will be on the path of righteousness. The 2 powers shall clash, and only one will be the victor. The victor will have the power to rule the world, or to save it, and I have that power? Naruto asked. The lion nodded. You were born with the power of light, able to purify even the most corrupted and twisted minds. You are the sole survivor of the Uzumaki clan, and only you can save the world from falling into darkness. The lion said. Naruto took all that in. But how? He asked. I will train you to use your power. However, I am too weak to do anything else. Being the last of the guardians has taken quite the toll on me. I will be absorbed by him, for he has been picking at my soul for ages, and you will have to face him alone. You must gather the courage, strength, and wisdom to purify his twisted soul. Be warned though, should you fall in combat to him, he will absorb your power, and use it to take over the world, quite possibly the universe, and usher in a new age of darkness that will last for all eternity. The lion told him. Naruto nodded. I'm ready. He said. The lion nodded. He shifted into the form of a mighty warrior. Let's get started. The man led him to a secluded area of the cave. Relax all your muscles. The man instructed. Naruto did as he said. Now, feel the energy. Channel it through your body, until it comes to an exit. Your body is a labyrinth. The energy is trying to get through, and you will guide it. You do not command it though, for it will not command you. You must work together, and balance each other out. Like a coin on its side. It does not fall one way. It does not fall the other. Its sides balance each other, and create an equilibrium. Remember, you are the energy's humble guide and friend. The man said. Naruto focused on the energy inside him. He could feel it moving around inside him, trying to free itself. He imagined himself inside a labyrinth, with the energy in a human form, standing beside him. He guided it through the labyrinth, not taking shortcuts. They got close to the exit. Naruto raised his arm, pointing his hand at the wall. The energy reached the exit, and flowed out. A beam of light shot out of his hand and burst into the wall. It caused a deafening explosion, and brought about smoke. When the gas cleared, there was a massive crater in the wall, with burn marks all over. The man nodded. I can only teach you one more thing before I go. The monster's name is corruption. There is a reason for this. If any blast from his power touches your unpowered skin, it will corrupt your mind, and you will be absorbed. I will teach you how to protect yourself. He said. Okay. Naruto said. Focus your energy. Mold it around you, form it into your shape. The man said. Naruto focused on his energy. Just like the Bunshin no Jutsu, he molded the energy into his shape. You could visibly see his energy surround him. It lifted him up into the air. Light materialized and solidified all around him. The solid light attached to Naruto, and stuck to his being. When it was all done, Naruto slowly floated to the ground. There stood a new person, who gave new meaning to the word epic. He had silver and gold armor, with the kanji, purity, in the middle of the chest, a golden helmet of light, white dragon wings, and a sword unlike any other. It was 5 feet long, golden, silver, and bronze, with inscribed runes that translated, for the light that reigns in ancient text, golden feathers rimming the hilt, and the blade a glowing bright yellow. The entire process had made Naruto taller, about the size of Karina and Anko. Naruto kneeled down in front of the guardian. The guardian took out a sword, and stood in front of Naruto. He brought blade down gently on Naruto's right shoulder, then his left, and lifted it away. You are the child of the prophecy. You must defeat the evil which corrupts all. Rise, Naruto Uzumaki, hero of the light, and fulfill the prophecy. He said. Naruto rose slowly. I won't fail. He said. The guardian smiled. Thank you? He said. He slowly faded out of view and existence. Naruto could sense the evil approaching. He zoomed out of the cave in a streak of light, ready to combat the growing darkness. Physical world. They all waited as Inoichi tried to reconnect with Naruto's senses. He kept failing, as if some unknown force was keeping him from doing so. What's taking so long? I need to know if Naruto-kun is okay, Anko said. Inoichi frowned. I'm trying as hard as I can. It's not that easy, you can. He never got to finish the sentence because they were all sucked into Naruto's mindscape. Naruto. He flashed outside the cavern. He could see the monster approaching, looking exactly like he did, but in all black, with 2 black and red dual swords. Ready to die? Naruto said. The monster said nothing. There was a deadly silence as the two hovered in the air. Everyone else, they all landed on their bottoms in Naruto's mindscape. Karina was the first to look around. Oh my god, where are we? She asked. I believe we're in Naruto's mind. Inoichi said. Everyone got a good view of the landscape before they heard a cry for help. They all ran to the source of the noise to find Takashi and Kyubi stuck under a tree. They all quickly got a hold of the tree, and lifted it off them. Phew. Thanks, guys. Takashi said. Everyone but Karina and Anko looked confused. Who's he? Sasuke asked. His name is Takashi. It's a long story. Anko answered. They all looked at Kyubi. She bent her right leg behind her, and waved while giggling. Hi, she said. All the boys except for Inoichi and Kakashi blushed and drooled. Who's she, and why is she in Naruto's mind? Karina asked angrily. That's Kyubi. Takashi said. Everyone gawped. You mean, that's the Kyubi? Anko asked. Sure am. Kyubi said while giggling some more. How can you be the Kyubi? Sasuke asked. Kyubi transformed into her demon self, then back to her human form. Good enough for ya? She asked. Sasuke just nodded in awe. Do you guys remember how they said the Yondaime killed me? Kyubi asked. The kids nodded. Well, he didn't really kill me. You can't kill a Biju. Instead, he sealed me inside a newborn boy. Kyubi said. And that boy was Naruto? Sasuke said. Yep. He's a pretty fun guy. Kyubi replied. Then she got serious. Let's cut the chatter though. Do you guys feel that enormous power? Kyubi asked. Everyone said yes. Something big's about to go down. Kyubi said. We got to find where the power is coming from. Anko said. They all agreed, and went off. They walked closer and closer to the power, until they were right next to it. They hid in some bushes, and peeked out. They saw 2 figures hovering in the air, not saying a word. One wore golden and silver armor, had golden glowing eyes, white dragon wings, and had a giant golden sword. The other looked the same as the golden one, but they were all black with red eyes, and 2 black and red dual swords. The black one is this evil thing that's in Naruto's mind. But I don't know who the golden one is. Kyubi said. I suggest that before reading this part, open a new tab on your browser, or if you can't, open another browser, and go to this YouTube video, watch, V=WJIC9HK of YQ. Play it while reading the next part. Suddenly, the duo clashed together, creating a clanging sound that echoed through Naruto's mind. They swung their swords together, matching each other par for par. They separated, getting ready for another attack. They both raised their arms. Energy charged up in the palms of their hands, and shot out. A beam of light came out of the golden one's hand, while a beam of darkness came out of the black one's hand. The blasts seemed equal, staying virtually in the same place. Suddenly, the beam of light strengthened, and began to push back the beam of darkness. The monster struggled, trying to strengthen its beam, but the light kept taking away any chance. The beam of light strengthened even more, pushing the beam of darkness back into the monster. The monster clutched its chest in pain. It floated to the ground and stood up. It made its hand glow with dark energy, and raised its hand in power. Suddenly, skeletons began to come out of the ground, and charged toward Naruto. He floated down quickly, and started running towards the skeletons. He held his sword in both hands, and charged it with light. It glowed brightly, shining out among the deserted landscape. He slashed through the skeletons with ease, freeing the souls of the raised. He jumped at the monster, and the two clanged swords together. The black one began to charge his with dark energy, pushing Naruto's sword towards his chest. Naruto strengthened his even more so, pushing the dark one back with ease. His sword slashed the monster, taking off its helmet. You could see a glowing yellow cut in the head, as if someone had tried to execute it. The monster fell to the ground, but still stood up on two legs. Suddenly it noticed the group in the bushes, and shot a black beam of energy toward them. It picked them up, and carried them over to it. It began to absorb them, sucking the life from their very souls. Naruto saw who it was corrupting, and said, "No! Your fight is with me, not them." Karina recognized the voice immediately. "Naruto-kun?" She wheezed out. He screamed in rage. Naruto flew towards the monster, his sword raised, ready to plunge it into the evil. The monster was still absorbing their power. He landed on the ground and instantly broke into a run. About 4 yards away from the monster, he jumped, and charged his sword with all the pure energy he could. He flew down, and plunged his sword into the monster's head. The monster screamed in agony. It writhed in pain. Suddenly, the monster froze, and exploded into 6 different colors. The colors turned into specific elements, green into earth, red into fire, yellow into energy, etc. Naruto was lifted in the air. The elements swirled and swirled around him, and finally streamed into his body. Suddenly, the 6 guardians appeared around Naruto. "So you are the child of the prophecy?" One who looked like a woman said. "I am," he replied. "Do you choose to rule or save?" she asked. "To save," Naruto said. She nodded. "I sense the truth in you. You are worthy of your title." She turned to someone who looked familiar. "You did well with this one," she said to them. "Yes, well, he was very good on his own," his guardian said. "It's good to see you again, Yoso," Naruto told him. Yoso smiled. "It's good to see you again, hero of the light," Yoso said. "Just call me Naruto." "Very well, hero." The two enjoyed a good laugh. Then Naruto remembered Karina and the others. He rushed over to them. "I'll get you guys fixed right up," he said. He channeled his energy into them, erasing all corruption from them. One by one, they were lifted into the air and healed. They each dropped down, feeling as good as new. "Thank you, Naruto-kun," Karina and Anko said. They both kissed him on the cheek. "You're welcome," he said. Naruto turned back to Yoso. "What was up with the elements that went into me?" he asked. The woman answered instead. "You defeated the evil that corrupted them. As the last of the Uzumaki, you now have to continue the spreading of the elements within your clan. They all went into you to spread into your children, and they will spread to theirs, and so on. You hold the power of the elements in your hands. You can use all of them, but the light will forever guide you," she said. Naruto nodded. "We will go, and wait for new elemental wielders to help. We all share the same name, for we are all one with the elements, but some choose to have a specific name. Your guardian will stay with you until childbirth. Then he shall stay with one of your children, and continue down your bloodline." Naruto nodded again. Naruto turned to Yoso. "Thank you for guiding me," he said. Yoso smiled. "In truth, I did not guide you much. As you are the guide of the labyrinth inside your body, you are also the guide of yourself. You shape your destiny, much like how you shape your energy. You mold it to how you wish for it to be. I speak for all the guardians, and all the universe when I say, we thank you, hero of light," Yoso said. They both bowed in respect to each other. He turned back to his friends. "We have to go," he said. They all nodded, and Naruto channeled his energy to warp them out. They disappeared one by one, with Naruto being the last. As he faded from his mind, he waved goodbye sadly to Yoso. He had grown a strong connection to his guardian, even though he knew little about him. Naruto finally disappeared, and they were all warped back to the physical world. When they reappeared, they were in Inoichi's house. "Naruto-kun, why did your guardian call you Hero of Light?" Karina asked. "In order to tell you that, I have to tell you the full story of my clan," he replied. "Your clan?" Sasuke asked. Naruto nodded. "My clan. I am last of the clan of the Uzumaki," Naruto told them. He began to recount what Yoso had said. He told of how 6 special children were born into the Uzumaki clan every 20 years, children who would gain elemental powers. He told of the prophecy which he had fulfilled, his powers, who his mother was, and his preparation for the battle, how he was the only person who could stand against the dark creature. When he finished recounting the tale, everyone was shocked. "I have yet another secret I have been keeping, though I did not know it until the first day in Wave," Naruto said. "What secret?" Sakura asked. "I know who my father is. You would have never thought that I would have gotten treated the way I did when I was younger if people knew who he was," Naruto replied. "Who is it?" Sakura asked the boy. My father was someone important, someone who if his enemies found out, they would hunt me down. He said. Who? Sakura pressed. It is not the right time, nor the right place. Naruto answered. I will make myself known in the world soon. You will see why in 3 years. Naruto told them. They were confused. Why 3 years? In 3 years the Chunin exams would begin, and Naruto would make himself known to everyone. What if Naruto Dragon Summoner Council bashing? And thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoyed this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel, and leave a like if you guys need the next part. Comment down and thanks for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.